swinging a fly ball to left field deep. Way back! Way back! This ball is gone! A walk-off home run! Newport Gulls win it here in the 11th.
This is the Newport Gulls pregame show, live from Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island.
Swing and a miss! He struck out Galletti. The Newport Gulls have won the NECBL Southern Division pennant. They will go on to face the Sanford Mainers in the 2015 NECBL Championship.
Coming up, interviews, stats, standings, lineups, and a whole lot more.
Swing, and that one is chopped. High. Donlan's really going to have to make a play to make this one. The throw to first is in time. One away in the ninth.
A high drive, left field deep. Lozano going back, looking up. This ball is a two-run homer. P.J. Jones hits it out.
Stay tuned. The pregame show begins now on the NECBL Broadcast Network. In his third season covering NECBL baseball, here is play-by-play broadcaster Rob Massey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again into Cardines Field. I'm Rob Massey, here for the Newport Gulls. The Gulls return home after a big win against the Keene Swamp Bats here at Cardines, 8-0 on Wednesday night to get back on the winning ways. The Gulls look to continue that in the Game 1 of the Pell Bridge Series here against the Ocean State Waves, the interstate rivalry between the Waves. Tonight, we'll have a conversation with General Manager Chuck Pava about the 2015 MLB Draft. 20 Gulls were drafted this season. That is a franchise record. Also, Meg Kirby will be speaking with John Littell, and I will, as always, have a conversation with Mike Coombs about today's game and the Gulls' future here in the 2015 season. All that and much more as the pregame show for the Newport Gulls continues next.
Welcome back to the Newport Gulls pregame show on the NECBL Network. I'm Meg Kirby here with John Littell. So, John, what did you think about Newport so far?
I'm really enjoying it so far. The weather and everything's great. Being from Oklahoma, you don't get to go to the beach all that often, so being able to meet some new guys and then be around this atmosphere is pretty cool.
Awesome. Have you done anything so far that you want to talk about?
Just kind of going to the beach. Like I said, we don't get to do that a whole lot, so taking advantage of that and have a really cool host family, so I get to go fishing every now and again, so that's been pretty cool as well.
Awesome. So, how did you find out about the Newport Gulls?
One of my coaches back at Oklahoma State actually told me about them and told me about the opportunity to come here and get better and play on a good team. So I was excited as soon as I heard about it.
Awesome. What made you choose to come to the Gulls, and what are some of your goals for the season?
It just seemed like a great fit for me. The coaches at Oklahoma State told me about the great league and the great players up here. So I wanted to come up here and show what I could do in Newport and hopefully win the NECBL. And then the second part of the question would be just to win the NECBL and just build some relationship with these guys that you don't get to meet if it weren't for this opportunity. So just trying to take it all in right now and enjoy the summer.
All right. And what is your most favorite baseball memory so far throughout your baseball career?
I would say hosting a regional this year, my freshman year at Oklahoma State. It didn't turn out how we wanted to, but it was a great first experience. Great to kind of get your feet wet that way and just kind of learn what you got to do to make it farther on.
All right, thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
All right, that's the pregame show on the NECBL Network. It continues next.
Welcome back to the Newport Gulls pregame show. This is the front office report, and I'm joined as always by the general manager of the Newport Gulls, Chuck Pava. And Chuck, opening day here at Cardines Field was a huge success. 2,160 people came to see the Newport Gulls defeat the Mystic Schooners 9-0 here. Just what a great night in Newport.
Yeah, it was a great weather night, you know. Opening night, celebrate our 2014 championship. Just a special night just to get started here in Newport, you know, and we had the nice weather to complement that, so everything worked out really well.
That was Gulls game number 289 here at Cardines Field, nearing 300, a huge feat for a team been in the league 15 seasons.
Yeah, I don't want to start counting them, but it's that many. Holy cow, you know. They all kind of blend together, 300 of them, but, you know, it's been a lot of fun. A great journey, and we're not done yet.
Now, last week the big story was the Major League Baseball draft. 20 Newport Gulls were drafted this season. Before we talk about the Gulls that were drafted, summer collegiate baseball has really had a major impact on Major League Baseball and their draft for college players. How important is a league like the NECBL or the Cape Cod League or any of the other summer leagues here for college kids to get an opportunity to go to the show?
Well, I mean, this is why they're all here. This is a developmental league for them. It's kind of like another minor league system for Major League Baseball, quite frankly. You know, these guys get to come out and play against college, the top pitching in college baseball with wood bats, and that's the difference. So I think that this is a great barometer for all these kids to get measured both on the bump and, you know, in the batter's box. But the other thing that really is evident that this is so important to Major League Baseball is they partially fund us. So when they're giving money to leagues like us and the Cape Cod League, it's because they realize the importance for us in their developmental process. I think another thing that really we do and people don't talk about is how we are bringing baseball back to communities in America. These are small communities around America, and you know, baseball is losing ground, and we've lost ground for a long time. Lacrosse has taken a lot of baseball kids away, but this brings it back in at the roots level in all of our communities with our summer camps and so on.
Now, the Newport Gulls had 20 Gulls drafted this year in the Major League Baseball draft. That is a franchise record. 19 were drafted in, I believe, 2013, who was in the teens again last year in 2014, but had a huge opportunity for this organization to show what sort of talent is drafted here by the Gulls, and then all of a sudden they're in the major leagues.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we've had a lot of big draft classes. This is perhaps the biggest one. 20 is a lot. So it always makes us proud that we're able to be a small influence or a small touch in these young men's lives as they journey to, you know, this game to try to get to professional baseball. So we're very proud of that, you know, and our little touch with these kids. And what makes us, you know, of course, always proud is when you get messages back. I got a message back from almost every one of them that said, best summer of my life, made a big impact on my development, thank you so much. So, you know, it is important to these kids, and this is why these kids make the journey to come here.
Now, the Gulls had to make a couple of roster moves because of the draft this weekend. Do you want to share what the Gulls have had to do so far?
Well, we didn't really have to do very much. I mean, Mike Oldenwalder was drafted, and he signed yesterday, so he's not coming. Mark McCoy was drafted, and he signed yesterday. He's not coming. What that only means is it frees up another outfield spot. I'm not going to fill it. I'll have to make a decision on what I'm going to do with the temporary guys I have. But right now, they're here to stay, and we'll have to take it one day at a time. I'll meet with the coaches tonight after the game and have that conversation. But I think that, you know, as far as the draft goes, we didn't lose too many guys. Dan Nichols was expecting to get drafted, and it didn't quite work out for him. So he'll be here Tuesday. Darryl Miller Jr. Didn't work out to his liking as well. I think he was looking for early round situation. It didn't happen, so he's going to be here on Sunday, I believe. So they're all going to start flocking into town, and it's great to see.
Now, with the players that don't get drafted, what is coming to a team like the Gulls do for their psyche when they are expecting to go, you know, maybe not even the higher rounds, but to go in the draft? What is it like to come to a team like the Newport Gulls after things not going their way in the draft?
You know, that's a very good question. Very good question. I see it all the time. I've been dealing with it for a long time. Some kids, you know, it's hard, and they don't even want to go out and play, you know. So they get here, they're kind of disappointed, and then eventually they buy into what we're doing here, and then they kind of feel like the draft's behind them. They turn the page, and they're going back to school, and they make that decision. And you know, I've seen a lot of it happen, and I think one of the best examples of that was just last year with Blaze Salter. Blaze was expected to go in the draft. He Big Ten Player of the Year, and he didn't get drafted at all. Came here, I talked to him on the phone. I know he was disappointed, but then he said to me, I always wanted to be a Gull, now I get to be a Gull. So he showed up here, and he had a choice. He can go through the motions and just, you know, be pissed, or buy into being here and be a great Gull, and that's exactly what he did. He bought into it, and he's an MVP of the league. So they're just very different for most kids, but those kids are pretty talented, and when they get here, they don't want to embarrass themselves. So they eventually get here, and they know they need to compete, so they do that.
Gulls look to get their third straight win at Cardines Field. Should be a fun night here tonight. Beautiful night for baseball against Ocean State.
Yeah, it's Friday night. It's Salve Regina night. You know, it's going to be, our season's going to start getting warm. School's going to start ending. And then the crowds will start to swell here. So I'm excited for these guys to have that opportunity.
Thanks very much, Chuck.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. That is our front office report with General Manager Chuck Pava. The Newport Gulls pregame show continues next. Welcome back to the Newport Gulls pregame show. This is the manager show. I'm joined by the manager of the Newport Gulls, Mike Coombs. And Skip, great win last night, 2 nights ago against the Keene Swamp Bats.
Yeah, it was a great win last night, too. I don't remember where I was, but it was fun.
Somebody won last night.
Yeah, no, that was a good ball game. Kids came to play, swung the bats well, and we pitched well, and we almost got hit in the head there.
Jovan Afner was 5 for 5. Let's scoot over a little bit. Jovan Afner went 5 for 5 last week on Wednesday. 3 of those 5 hits were in the leadoff spot in the lineup. How important is it to have a leadoff guy that's that reliable?
The kid had a career. For some kids, that's a career. I mean, 5 for 5, and there was no cheapies. I mean, he stroked it and hit the ball hard, and that's awesome. I mean, you get on the base 5 times like that, unheard of.
Now Spagnola came in relief, pitched another 3 innings of, I believe it was 1-hit baseball. He has a .82 ERA. He seems to be the stopper in the bullpen for the Gulls right now. He's pitching amazing right now out of the bullpen.
Yeah, he's doing very well. I like him out of the pen. I like Karinchak. He threw the ball well, and he's got 2 W's so far. So it's all coming together, and we're starting to get some more pitchers in here now, so it's good.
Now with pitchers coming in and a bullpen that we've been talking about is very short, pitching has been tremendous. They lead the league right now in ERA at 1.47, 3 shutouts in 5 games, has the the least amount of runs scored and tied for the least amount of walks in the league. The pitching staff right now is really holding this Gulls team together.
Yeah, they've gone out there and given us 4 or 5 innings each time, and that's all we can ask for. We've kept our pitch count down a little bit, and it's been good.
Hunter Shriver goes for the Gulls here tonight. He won on opening night, had a great outing. He went 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, only 1 walk, 2 hits overall in a great outing. What are you expecting out of him tonight?
Same deal. But you never know. You know, it's a game of baseball, and so him coming out there and doing what he did the other night will be I'll be impressed.
Now, over the weekend, 20 Newport Gulls were drafted in the 2015 MLB draft. Over your tenure here, there have been over 50 Gulls drafted. What is that like as a manager to see the kids that played for you go on and have an opportunity for the show?
Well, first and foremost, that's Chuck Pava and Chris Patsos. I can't take any credit for that. They're the ones that have recruited those kids, did their homework on those kids, and got them here, and top quality baseball players. So, you know, that's a pat on the back to Chuck and Chris and what they do and what they bring here to Newport. I just kind of stay out of the way and just, you know, be myself, and hopefully they're themselves and can continue to play well here. And then we fire them up a little bit and say, you're in Newport, man, let's go. You're at a higher level than some of those other places you've been, and we expect good things from you, and so step your game up.
We expect good things here tonight against the Ocean State Waves. Good luck here tonight, Skip.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's manager Mike Coombs, and the pregame show will continue next.
Once again, here's Rob Massey and the Newport Gulls broadcast.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Cardines Field, a beautiful night. I am Rob Massey, joined by Tim Scott of the Ocean State Waves, Billy McNeil, George Bissell, and Meg Kirby as well. We are here in the Nest, and it's a homecoming at the Nest for Tim Scott. Welcome back, Tim.
Always glad to be back here at Cardines Field. This was my home field for 3 years. Now I'm across the Pell Bridge with the Ocean State Waves. Can't wait to begin the 2015 Pell Bridge rivalry. And now this season for the Ocean State Waves, 2-2 on the season. They haven't been at home for most of the season, and right now they open up the Pell Bridge rivalry here at Cardines, a rivalry series that they won last year. It's crazy. The Ocean State Waves, last time they played in the state of Rhode Island was back last Thursday against New Bedford Bay Sox. Since then, there's been a 4-game road stand for the Waves. And back to the Pell Bridge rivalry, the Waves looking to get the Pell Bridge rivalry throughout the regular season and the postseason. So Eric Sorella, the manager of the Waves, motivating the team before the game, telling them this is theirs for the taking. They just got to do what they can. But it should be a great series this year. I'm looking forward to all 6 games of the rivalry. We can catch them right here on the NECBL broadcast network.
It's going to be a great series, a great game as the Newport Gulls look to win their 3rd straight here at Cardines Field. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll take a look around the league here on the NECBL broadcast network.
The Newport.
Welcome back here to Cardines Field. Here with a look around the league is Meg Kirby. Hi, Meg.
Hey, how are you?
Not too bad.
All right, so last night the Newport Gulls were take a day off, so we're going to start off with the Laconia Muskrats and Danbury Westerners. Laconia defeated Danbury 9-3. Sanford Mainers fell to the Mystic Schooners 5-2. And then we also have, it looks like there was a doubleheader for the Danbury Westerners and Laconia Muskrats, where the Muskrats took it in again for a 6-2 lead. And then finally, the Keene Swampats defeated the New Bedford Bay Sox 1-0. Now, for tonight's games, we have the Vermont Mountaineers against the Mystic Schooners, the Keene Swampats versus the Laconia Muskrats, the Valley Blue Sox versus Plymouth Pilgrims, the New Bedford Bay Sox versus North Adams Steeplecats, the Stanford Mainers against the Danbury Westerners, and the Newport Gulls against the Ocean State Waves.
And Tim Scott, I mean, we're almost ready for baseball here. What really are the keys here for the Ocean State Waves to have a victory here tonight?
Well, the big thing that Coach Eric Sorella has been stressing to the Waves offense throughout the week has been consistent offensive production. The Waves came into this game with a league-low 178 batting average. So Sorella working a lot with the players to make sure they can work on their bat speed, trying to make sure they can get contact on easily pitched balls. And it worked last Wednesday, I should say, against the Vermont Mountaineers. The Waves had 6 hits and won the game 3-1, snapping a losing slide in which they went 1-2.
The Newport Gulls had a great night here at Cardines Field against the Keene Swampats, a 8-0 victory here at Cardines. In the 3 victories that the Gulls have had, they have scored 25 combined runs. They're averaging 8 runs a game when they win. When they lose, they're only averaging 3 runs a game.
It's all about variability here in the NECBL. It can say that when you're on a roll, you're prone to more runs, but if you're not, it just goes to a testament of the pitching, too. Pitching in the league had a 3.18 ERA throughout the whole league, so it just shows that when your offense is hot, it does its thing, but if not...
Tim, I hate to cut you off. We're going to head right down to field level with Chuck Paiva. We'll be right back.
Salve Regina University, located in Newport's Bellevue Avenue Historic District, Salve Regina University strives through teaching and research to prepare men and women for responsible lives by imparting and expanding knowledge, developing skills, cultivating enduring values. Through liberal arts and professional programs, students from 34 states and 25 nations develop their abilities for thinking clearly and creatively, enhance their capacity for sound judgment, and prepare for the challenge of learning throughout their lives. Tonight, we would like to honor 3 Salve Regina University graduates who took this education and have positively impact the city of Newport. Before I introduce our first pitch people, I'd also like to recognize Salve Regina's extravaganza as your hometown Gulls take on class 2008 Mac-Finlayson's.
As Chuck Paiva continues Salve Regina night here at Cardines Field, let's take a look at the starting lineups here for both the Newport Gulls and the Ocean State Waves, starting with the Ocean State Waves. And here is, once again, Tim Scott.
Thanks, Rob. Leading things off for the Waves is third baseman Jake Palamaki. He'll be followed in right field by Griffin Helms. In the trio, it's going to be 2014 Wave Tim Lynch at first base, followed by his Southern Mississippi teammate Dylan Bordeaux in center. Buck McCarthy will bat 5th in left field, followed by Chucky Robinson behind the plate. And the final 3 batters for the Waves, Alex King at shortstop, followed by Dom Veltri at the designated hitter spot. And to round it all out, it's the second baseman for the Waves, Nick Dawson.
And pitching tonight for the Newport Gulls is Hunter Shriver. The lefty is making his second appearance, and it was here on opening night against the Mystic Schooners that Shriver started. He's 1-0 on the season, 6 innings pitched there, 2 hits. He had 6 strikeouts on the evening and only walked 2 in the shutout victory. The starters for your Newport Gulls here tonight are as follows. Leading off will be Jovan After. He's in center field. Reed Gamache is at second base. He's batting second. Cooper Elliott in right field. Max Bierman in the cleanup spot once again. Drew Lugbauer behind the dish batting fifth. Jeremy Wolf in left field batting sixth. John Littell is batting seventh. He'll be the DH tonight. Martin Tavares bats eighth. He's at third base. And Kevin Baker rounds out the order. He's at short.
And on the mound tonight for the Waves, it's going to be Mason Perryman in his Ocean State Waves debut. He's sophomore out of the University of Southern California. He last pitched in the NCAA Regionals against Virginia, where only allowed 1 run over 4 innings, despite an extra inning loss to the Cavaliers in the regional final.
Your umpires for the night is Tim Reiner behind the plate, and Bill McCollum will be on the bases. Both of these gentlemen have been here in the last 2 Gulls home games. 69 degrees here in Newport, Rhode Island. A strong wind out of the south, 13 miles an hour out of the south here in beautiful Newport. We will step aside. When we come back, we will have our national anthem. For our national anthem, Jim Fowler, the Vice President of Salve for the Star Spangled Banner.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That was Jim Fowler with our national anthem, a great rendition. We will pause 10 seconds for station identification.
18 Newport County, the World Wide Web, and on DVD. This is Newport Gulls Baseball on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
We're almost ready for baseball, Tim Scott, and it's going to be a great night here in Newport. Like we said, 69 degrees. You can see the flag over on the visitor center blowing quite strong here. A 12-mile-an-hour sustained southerly wind here in Newport, and that is going to wreak havoc on outfielders tonight. And it's going to do some, makes the baseballs out there in the outfield dance a little bit.
Yeah, wind is one of those features that just makes things a little interesting for baseball. As opposed to Old Mountain Fuel, wind's not really much of a factor. Here at Cardines, you have a strong southerly wind, as you mentioned there, Rob. And it'll be interesting. The Waves outfielders going to be sharp and on their toes to adjust to the wind and the pressure in the field.
Yeah, while we have a minute or two, Tim, you took over for the Ocean State Waves. You're the broadcaster now out there in Ocean State. What's it like for you for your first game back here? Notice that there's no fedora sitting next to you here, so it's all sorts of new and exciting here at Cardines Field.
It's a little bit of a mix of the old and the new here in my first game back to Cardines Field. Of course, always great to see a great baseball game on the field. Always great to work up here in the broadcast booth. A lot of great things, even though some things might have changed. It's just always great to come right back here in this spot and call a great game nonetheless.
I can tell you, Tim, honestly, we were all here talking before the game. Very excited to have you back. It's, you know, you made a lot of us proud here in Newport. And I can't really speak as part of the full Gulls family, as I am new to the family as well, but everybody that I came and interacted with here today said Tim Scott's coming back. It'd be great to see him. You know, have you in a play-by-play role here tonight, and it's just always good to have a familiar face here.
It's always good to come back to the nest. I mean, the Newport Gulls family stretches out far and wide, and it's always great to know you have a very comforting feeling when you're coming back to a place I called home for 3 years, and it's just great to have a nice, relaxed return here. It's always great to come back.
Now, for the Ocean State Waves, they have a great record thus far. Oh, they have a great record on the road. I'm looking at the road records for both teams. I got them backwards. They're 2-1 on the road. They haven't been to Old Mountain Field since opening night. So what is it like for the team to constantly be traveling?
It takes a toll. I mean, a lot of people were falling asleep on the bus when we were going up to Vermont a couple days ago. But the team loves to travel. A lot of good banter going on the bus. Everyone's pumped to travel, explore new places. It's pretty much the quintessential summer baseball experience, going around the region and just making things happen regardless of where you play. And the good thing is that you guys get washed out against North Adams, but you guys get the phone call before the bus took off for North Adams. Thank God for that. I know that we had a couple of games like that when I was with Plymouth last year, where we're midway to someplace like Sanford, as a for instance, and we get a phone call, hey, we're being washed out here. It's build an arc style rain out here. We're not playing baseball tonight. Exactly. It's good to have that correspondence before the game. In our instance, it was 11 a.m. The bus wasn't going to leave till about 1 p.m. So, in hindsight, got the call from my general manager, Matt Finlayson. Pretty much said, game's been washed, we're going to have a doubleheader. And it's just a good relief as opposed to traveling to a Northern Division opponent, and then all of a sudden, it's washed out and you have to go all the way back with nothing to be gained. Now, Hunter Shriver, as we see him taking his warm-ups, the big lefty, had a great performance here against the Mystic Schooners on opening night. 6 innings of 2-hit baseball, 6 strikeouts for Shriver, 2 walks. The Newport Gulls, so far this season, lead the NECBL in pitching in ERA at 1.47 ERA. Opponents are hitting a meager 187 against the Gulls. They have given up 26 hits in 5 games, but only 6 of those hits have been extra base hits. That shows a sign of a pitching staff, small as it is right now, as we're still waiting for guys to come into Newport, pitching effectively and dominating opponents. And right now, for a team like the Ocean State Waves, who are only batting about 188, to see opponents hitting 187 against somebody like Shriver, that's kind of a heavy feat here for the Ocean State Waves tonight as we get ready for our first pitch. Here it is, and it is a called strike. And we are underway here in Newport at 6:38 on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The 0-1 is swung on and missed. It's Jake Polomsky for the Waves, the third baseman. Has an 0-2 against him. There it is. It misses high. 1-2. Jake Polomaki, a guy that's an on-base percentage machine. So far on the young season, Polomaki leads the league in on-base percentage with 545 OBP.
The 1-2 just outside as Drew Lugbauer tried to pull that in. Polomaki did a great job letting that one go by. The 2-2. That misses just low. You can see Lugbauer pull the glove up a bit as a couple of hundred umpires here at Cardines disagreed with our home plate umpire, Tim Rayner. It'll be a payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Polomaki down by way of the K, 1 down here in the first. And so far, you saw all 3 pitches from Shriver pitching effectively and pitching well with them.
Yeah, Hunter Shriver, interesting note, pitched for the Ocean State Waves in 2014. So his stuff is pretty familiar if you're Eric Sorella in the Waves coaching staff. But so far, pitching effectively and establishing command early on is important.
Here comes Griffin Helms to right field, and he takes the first pitch he sees and drives it to right field, but coming under it is Cooper Elliott, who makes the catch for out number 2.
Griffin Helms, as I mentioned, good offensive hitter, just getting a little bit too much under that one, and a good catch out there and right there by Cooper Elliott.
Coming up, Tim Lynch, the first baseman. First lefty matchup we will have here tonight. The Ocean State Waves are wearing their road blues, dark blue, and of course the Carolina blue in the numbers, gray pants. First pitch into Lynch, misses low, ball one. The homestanding Gulls in their home whites, the blue and orange piping and Gulls across the chest, and the numbers on the back. Gully on the top of the hat, the black and blue hat. The 1-0 swung on and fouled back. Our umpires tonight are wearing the Jerry Davis pants. Of course, on the bases, it will be the collegiate black with the white piping, and our home plate umpire, Tim Rayner, sporting the plate coat tonight. That's a great look. I gotta get myself another plate coat. The 1-1 is a called strike on the outside part of the plate, 1-2, and Shriver can really pinpoint where he wants that fastball.
He's doing a great job with that fastball, painting the corners a little bit and making the Waves hard to hit him.
1-2, misses just low, 2-2, as you hear the chatter from the Cardines Field crew.
Interesting note about Hunter Shriver, even the pitches he misses, it's always very close to the plate.
2-2, breaking ball swung on and missed, 2 down by way of the K here, and that will be the out. That retires a side. No score as the Gulls come up for the first time in the Bell Bridge Series. We'll be right back on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
The New England Collegiate Baseball League. Fans, this is a reminder that this copywritten telecast is the exclusive property of the Newport Gulls Baseball Club and the New England Collegiate Baseball League, presented by the authority of the NECBL Broadcast Network for the entertainment of our listening and viewing audience, and may not be reproduced, recorded, or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game cannot be disseminated without the express written consent of the Newport Gulls and the Commissioner's Office of the New England Collegiate Baseball League.
Tim Scott and Rob Massey coming to you live from the nest alongside Meg Kirby, George Bissell, and Billy McNeil here. Top of the first is a thing of the past. We go to the bottom of the first here for the Newport Gulls. It'll be Jovan Afner leading off, and when we get a moment, we'll set the infield for the Ocean State Waves. Afner will dig in against Mason Perry of the Ocean State Waves. Excuse me, Mason Perryman. The righty stares in from the full windup, kicks and deals. It is a called strike on the outside part of the plate, 0-1.
Mason Perryman works efficiently on the mound, very smooth delivery, quick timing between pitches.
Deal one, that is lifted to left field. In step is Buck McCarthy, and he makes the catch for out number one. Tim Scott, let's set the infield for the Ocean State Waves.
Defensively tonight in the infield, it's going to be Jake Palamaki and Alex King on the left side of the infield, with Nick Dawson and Tim Lynch taking at second base and first base respectively. In the outfield tonight, it's going to be Buck McCarthy, Dylan Bordeaux, and Griffin Helms from left to right. And the battery for tonight's Wave squad is going to be Mason Perryman and Chucky Robinson.
The first pitch from Perryman to Reed Gamache is a called strike. Both pitchers tonight pitch quickly. They want the ball, they want to throw it back again. That's what they want to do. Two power pitchers. The 0-1. Just outside, ball one to Reed Gamache.
It's a common trend now around the league. A lot of pitchers working more quickly and more efficiently. Kind of reflects in the numbers, a 3.18 ERA for all pitchers combined across the NECBL, and it goes back to efficiently working and not taking time in between pitches.
1-1 is a ball. Nope, I lied. It's a called strike. Tim Rayner is on Central Time tonight.
I love Tim Rayner's emphatic strike call. It's very distinct. It takes a second, and then he goes straight for the strike call.
There's no Rick Del Vecchio, though. The 1-2. Misses high, ball 2.
You can hear Rick Del Vecchio from a mile away.
You can hear Rick Del Vecchio from Sanford. And I love Del Vecchio. He is by far one of my favorite umpires in the NECBL. I actually got to work with him this year in high school ball in Massachusetts. Here's the 2-2. Bounces in there, 3-2. Here's a guy who has a lot of knowledge and just likes to pass it along to younger guys.
You always like to see that in an older umpire, someone that likes to spread the lessons around and keep sure the nurturing of the future generation still going strong.
Gamache pinwheels the bat from the right side. The payoff pitch swung on and grounded through for a hit. The Gulls have their first hit of the night. Reed Gamache extends his on-base streak to 6 games as he has reached base at least once since opening day and took this one right through the right side of the field for a hit.
That was a good piece of hitting there by Gamache. Former Ocean State Wave, I should mention. Got that right through the 3.5 hole and was able to get it right into a good area, and now he's on base. A threat here for the Waves, Gulls, I should say, early on.
Cooper Elliott, first pitch he sees from Perryman, misses away. Ball 1. Perryman, the lefty, waves the bat. Gamache, not really a threat to steal. The 0-1, that swung on and missed. That was a breaking ball that time from Perryman, and a good one.
You're going to see that breaking ball a lot tonight from Mason Perryman. He mixes in his fastball as well as that curveball. That fools batters, especially how he times each pitch. Sometimes goes consecutive fastball, sometimes go consecutive curveball. He's just good at mixing it up.
1-1. Misses away, ball 2, and popping up was Chucky Robinson, trying to pick off Gamache, or at least give him a look over at first base.
Base runners should be aware of Chucky Robinson. He can pop.
Snap throw to first base, back diving is Gamache, no tag applied.
Yeah, Chucky Robinson can pop out of his stance in 0.8 of a second, which is among the lead in the nation.
3-2-1. Here's a called strike. 2-2.
Good pace of pitching there by Mason Perryman, working alongside that fastball and curveball, still throwing it right over the plate and making batters miss in the process.
And the sweeping curveball breaks away from the batter. The 2-2 misses away, 3-2.
Both of these pitchers tonight, whenever they miss, don't miss by a lot, especially a more tighter strike zone, but still nonetheless pretty close. We haven't seen any wild pitches yet, so far consistent work from both Shriver and Perryman.
Payoff. That one is popped up, lifted to right field, going back is Helm, still going back at the wall, and it's off the wall. A ball that just kept carrying there is Perryman in Helms in Bordeaux. Tracked the ball and ended up going right off of that light stanchion in right center field.
The famed Cardines triangle. That thing for opposing teams, not really something they missed. That ball just ricocheted right off the stand, as you said, and made a tricky play for Bordeaux and Helms. You thought it was going to be a routine fly ball, but it just kept carrying, and then what you got there is a one-out single for Cooper Elliott.
I was helped by that southerly wind that we were talking about at the start of the game. So runners at the corners here, only one down for Max Bierman. First pitch he sees. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. Bierman has a 4-game hit streak and a 5-game on-base streak going right now for the Gulls as he waves the bat from the left side. The 0-1. Here's a pitch on the outside for a called strike, 0-2.
One interesting thing about Mason Perryman is how he works out of the stretch. He stands there kind of fully extended on the mound, trying to establish pivot foot there to get a good strike over the plate.
0-2 is chopped foul into the netting there. We'll reset, we'll do it again.
Better call, Newport Glass.
So it'll be an 0-2 pitch again to Bierman. It misses away, ball 1.
Even out his stretch, Perryman still works well with his pitches, still mixing in that fastball and curveball, especially with runners in base. In the game against Virginia, he was able to escape jams consistently.
The 1-2, swung on and lined, caught by the second baseman Dawson on to first, double play. It's a 4-3 double play that ends the threat for the Gulls in the first. We are through one, no score here from Cardines Field. We'll be right back on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Fan.
We go to the second inning here at Cardines Field, no score, as the Gulls and the Ocean State Waves lock up again for the third year of the Pell Bridge Series. The Gulls, the 15-year veterans of the NECBL, the Ocean State Waves, the new kids on the block, their third season in the NECBL.
But the Waves have made an impact in those 3 years so far. 2 playoff appearances in 2 years, so no longer the new kids.
First pitch to Dylan Bordeaux is a ball as they light the lamps here at Cardines Field in the second inning. 1-0 is fouled back into the net here. 1-1.
Never too early for some extra light here, especially as it's a little cloudy, some fog starting to settle in a little bit over the outfield. So in hindsight, the lamps are a great idea.
1-1, that is lined and picked up on a bounce by Baker over to first for out number 1. Let's set the field for the Newport Gulls defensively. At third base is Martin Tavares. Kevin Baker, as you just saw, is at shortstop. Reed Gamache at second base. Max Bierman at first. Left to right, it'll be Wolf, Afner, and Elliott. Drew Lugbauer does the catching for Hunter Shriver. One down here as Shriver deals and gets a ball to Buck McCarthy.
Buck McCarthy, a 2-time Wave, back for his second summer.
Next one misses away, 2-0.
McCarthy yet to establish a pure rhythm at the plate. He had 263 with the Waves last summer, has only 1 hit in 4 games.
The 2-0 is hopped well out of play, and that'll grab some street.
But once McCarthy gets hot at the plate, he is hard to stop. He had a similar situation this spring with Bryant. He was hitting 222 at one point, then elevated his average up to 303.
2-1 is a called strike on the outside part of the plate, 2-2.
Former teammates facing each other on the mound in Hunter Shriver and Buck McCarthy. So very interesting to see these kinds of matchups here in the NECBL.
2-2 is lined and played, almost caught over there by Baker. The throw to first is not going to be in time as it pulls Bierman off of the bag. But Baker, what a great attempt on a sinking liner at shortstop. He went into the dive and could not come up with it. So it'll be an infield single for Buck McCarthy, but a great attempt there by Kevin Baker.
That was some good defense there by Kevin Baker to prevent that one from soaring into the outfield. That was so far we've seen some great defense from Kevin Baker over at shortstop, making the backhanded play to get Dylan Bordeaux out. He just did a great job of keeping that one in the infield and trying to make a play out of it.
First pitch to Chucky Robinson is lifted to center field. In step is Jovan Afner. He will make the catch for out number 2.
And that's just a little bit of a sample of the power that Chucky Robinson's been bringing to each ballpark across the NECBL so far. Probably the most consistent power threat, even though that ball died in the air. Still a good piece of hitting to put some threat into Hunter Shriver on the mound.
2 down, runner on first base is Buck McCarthy. Alex King comes up for the first time as the Ocean State Waves feature once again those Carolina blue bats. First pitch is a strike. There's a fastball on the outside part of the plate, right across the letters.
Gotta love the Carolina blue bats. New Bedford had camouflage bats when they played the Waves a few days ago.
Alex King steps back in. Shriver gets a sign that he likes. Kicks and deals. Check swing. It's a called strike, 0-2.
Shriver's fastball today is a special zip to it as well. Kind of caroms in hardness as it reaches the plate. You can hear the pop from miles away when it hits Drew Lugbauer's glove.
The 0-2, breaking ball that misses high. 1-2.
And even that breaking ball, even though it's probably coming in at a lower speed, still comes in with that pop. And I don't know if it's Drew Lugbauer's glove as an extra bit of sound to it, but still good pitching.
The 1-2 is fouled back here. And that put a dent into this Centreal ballpark.
It actually went into the crowd.
That's got a lot of power on it.
And a lot of good catch there is by the young fans down the first base line. Good snare there. Almost a barehanded play. If it didn't come off the bounce, would have been great either way.
The 1-2 misses high and in, 2-2. With the way he's popping the mid, that's not a good day to take one for the team.
I mean, the effort would be nice, but I mean, especially with this pop, it would probably be a big old bruise.
2-2. It's a breaking ball, gets away from Lugbauer. He's able to recover it. Staying at first is Buck McCarthy. It'll be a payoff pitch. McCarthy should be off with the pitch here tonight.
Interesting thing about Cardines Field, as opposed to most of the ballparks around the NECBL, a lot less territory behind the plate, which would prevent runners from advancing as often as they do in other parks.
Here's the payoff. It's lifted to left field. Jeremy Wolf going back, looking up, still going back. It is going to bounce high off the wall, and coming around to score is Buck McCarthy. To throw in is going to be cut off, and the Ocean State Waves take the first lead of the night. An RBI double by Alex King. That ball carried a long way and came right off the wall there in left field.
Great piece of hitting there by Alex King. He was working on his stance a little bit in batting practice, and the work he did with hitting coach Jim Soro and manager Eric Sorella paying off there. His first big hit of the summer. He had two coming into this game, but that was probably the finest piece of contact he's put into a ball all summer so far for the Waves.
And the Waves score first in the Pell Bridge series as Shriver comes set. The lefty kicks and deals. First pitch to Dom Veltri is a called strike. You know, Tim, I didn't really notice it when you said it at first, but looking at the sky here, it's gotten very overcast, and a fog is starting to settle in here at Cardines.
Kind of an eerie feeling.
Next pitch misses away, ball one. Which is funny because if you were watching the pregame show, we were in beautiful sun, high sky, gorgeous day for a baseball game, and all of a sudden this kind of came out of nowhere in the soup. The 1-1. This is away, ball two, 2-1.
Hopefully tonight doesn't result in some rain. I mean, the clouds right now look pretty clear, so maybe this game will get in after all. I mean, as you said, Rob, beautiful day early on, but now this fog's starting to seep in a little bit of an eerie feeling.
2-1 is lifted to center field. Afner giving chase, but going back is Kevin Baker, who will make the leaping catch for the out. That retires the side. The Waves score first here. They lead 1-0 at Cardines Field after 1.5. We'll be right back on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Cardines Field. Well, the gloomy sky is not hurting attendance here. As you can actually see some fans at the top of the Mudville pub there looking on above Cardines Field. Hi, everybody. Welcome back in. 1-0 your score here. Rob Massey alongside Tim Scott, Meg Kirby, George Bissell, and, of course, Billy McNeil. The Ocean State Waves and the Newport Gulls nodding up for the first time of 6 here in the 2015 season. First pitch from Mason Perryman is lifted out of play by Drew Lugbauer.
Perryman, who escaped the last inning after having runners on the corners and 1 out, still working smoothly here in the top of the second inning, still mixing in that fastball and curveball here to Drew Lugbauer.
Checking the weather report in between innings, we are expecting some precipitation as this one misses away. Ball 1. But not until much later in the evening, saying around 11:30 midnight, and you can kind of tell with the way that the temperature's dropping a little bit. It's getting cooler. The fog's rolling in here. The 1-1 to Lugbauer. It swung on and chopped foul, just foul. The 1-2.
Good effort there by the first base coach to try to field it there instead of having to chase it back. A lot of coaches trying to make some nice plays while they're in the coach's box there. Another interesting trend emerging in the league this summer.
Lugbauer from the left side. Pinwheels the bat. Here's the 1-2 from Perryman. Outside, ball 2. And once again, Tim, Perryman and Shriver, when they miss, they're not missing by much. They are challenging hitters early on tonight.
And that's exactly what you do if you're a starting pitcher, trying to establish command over home plate, trying to ease in and get outs.
2-2, that nicked Lugbauer, and he will head down to first base, hitting the leg. The Gulls have a leadoff man aboard. Yeah, looking at the Doppler, Tim Scott, as Meg actually pulled up on the Google machine, it looks ugly. Very large green front coming our way. Doesn't look good for later on tonight and possibly tomorrow.
It looked like it was going to hit the north of New England a lot more than down here, but still rain is nothing to mess with.
First pitch to Jeremy Wolf is a called strike, 0-1. Wolf in left field tonight for the Newport Gulls. Snap throw over to first base. Back diving is Lugbauer.
And that's something that's a big point of emphasis for Eric Sorella and the Waves pitching staff is the
The 0-1 misses away.
As I was saying, the efficiency of pickoff moves there. Sorry I couldn't finish the word there, but efficiency in trying to get quick pickoff throws to first base. The Waves have picked off 2 runners so far this summer, which is among the league lead.
1-1, misses away, ball 2.
But nonetheless, good pickoff move there by Mason Perryman, trying to get Drew Lugbauer out there. A very smooth pickoff move. Kind of throws it low to the glove to ease the tag by Tim Lynch.
Perryman looks over the shoulder, checks the runner, kicks and deals the 2-1. That's a called strike. 2-2.
Perryman still working smoothly even against Jeremy Wolf, who comes from Trinity University in Texas. Still working smooth against one of the top power hitters for the Gulls. Hit a home run earlier this season.
So far, the only home run of the season for the Gulls. The 2-2. That one's fouled back. And I believe it went through the door there, and one of our young guys ended up grabbing the ball.
Actually, it's wedged into the fence there, the mesh fencing there. The ball is trapped there. So technically, you can record the put out there for the gauge, just snaring it and keeping it suspended right through there.
Here's the 2-2. That's swung on, shot back to the mound. It goes through the wickets of Perryman, and everybody is going to be safe. The catcher, Jackie Robinson, was pointing to third base as it was not occupied, and nobody was covering it. They're going to score that a clean hit for Jeremy Wolf as he was able to find the 5-hole there for Perryman.
That was just a tricky defensive play here for the Waves, as now Eric Sorella is coming to the mound to chat with the infield, but that play was a tricky defensive play for all around. It was one of those bounding balls that Mason Perryman couldn't quite scoop with his glove, and the infield just was scattered around trying to figure out what to do.
There's that baseball. It's wedged into the fence. I thought it skirted through the door because some of the young guys were sitting there staring at the center of the door and screaming, mine, 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 but that ball, I tell you what great product placement for the NECBL. Not only is the logo clearly visible, but so is in Diamond, who is the official baseball of the NECBL.
Nothing like free advertising where you can get it, right?
Who needs a sign? Wedge a ball in the fence.
You can see the ad. It's all right there. Perfect.
2 on, nobody out for the Gulls. John Littell comes up, the designated hitter for the evening. Perryman, long look in, comes set, and will wheel off the back of the mound, checking back Drew Lugbauer.
Interesting windup here for Mason Perryman. When he's in the stretch, he holds the ball out. Instead of normal pitchers who kind of like pull in before, he just keeps the ball out suspended right above the mound and just eases into his windup.
First pitch to Littell, he sees, lifts it high to right center field, and Bordeaux will dive and make the catch. What a great catch by Bordeaux for out number 1. Call the mothership down in Bristol. That should be a top 10.
I agree. That play right there, Dylan Bordeaux had to range back a little bit. Kind of the momentum of the ball kind of carried him to the ground after he caught the ball. But still a great defensive play to save a few runs for the Gulls.
This brings up Martin Tavares.
Batting .286 on this young season in 21 at-bats. He has 6 hits. He scored a run. He does have a double and 3 RBIs for the Gulls. He comes up with runners at the corners, 1 down. First pitch he has grounds it to the second baseman. Davidson boots the ball. The throw over to first is going to be in time. So it's not an official error. The out goes 4-3 and a run scores.
But if you're the Gulls, you got to appreciate the RBI on that one. That was a tricky play for Nick Dawson to make, try to scoop it a little bit on the backhand. But if you're the Waves, you're happy you got the out, because now instead of having a potential threat with 2 runners on, you just have the runner on second base.
Dawson probably kicking himself. He had a routine double play ball, tried to go 4-6-3 and ended up booting the ball. Was able to recover quick enough to
get the 1 out.
Get the 1 out there. Time called here by our batter, Kevin Baker, the number 9 man. Baker looking to keep the rally going. The Gulls have tied this ball game up 1 apiece here in the second inning. First pitch to Baker is popped up in foul territory, giving chase to the first baseman, Lynch, and he will make the catch in foul territory for the out. That retires the side. The Gulls scratch across 1 and knot things up here. We will head to break. When we come back, we'll have the third inning on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Tune in for front office.
Back here at Cardines Field, tied up. You can see more fans. These fans on top of the warehouse in right field. Again, that's just above the Mudville Pub. Not part of the Mudville Pub, but just above it. Taking in the ball game. And Tim, like I said, that there's a lot of people watching from the rooftops. Very similar to teams out in Chicago. The difference between fans here and fans out in Chicago is our fans know what it's like to win a championship. It's not just about the joy of coming out to Cardines Field, it's the success of the team too.
Exactly. I went to Wrigley Field a few weeks ago and they were renovating the bleachers, so it wasn't the same experience as normal.
First pitch to Nick Dawson is a called strike, 0-1. As Hunter Shriver takes the mound again for the Gulls here in the third. Next pitch, breaking ball, misses low, 1-1. Shriver through 2 innings, through 32 pitches. Works quickly, the 1-1. Misses high, ball 2.
Nick Dawson, even though he has an .091 batting average, is still a guy that every time he leads off an inning, it usually results in some magic. He always leads off with a leadoff walk.
2-1, misses away. 3-1.
On 2 notable occasions this summer, whenever Nick Dawson led off with the walk, it led to a winning rally against Danbury. It also led to a 2-run home run on Wednesday for Tim Lynch.
3-1 is lined into the glove of Max Bierman. 1 down here as Bierman ranged just to his left, making the snag. Nicely done.
Good defensive reflexes there by Max Bierman over at first. Kai was playing the line there, had a range a little bit to his left, but was still able to make the play. And a sharply hit line drive there by Nick Dawson.
Fog starting to get a little bit thicker here as you looking out from the nest and our press box at Cardines. It's getting kind of hard to see the signs out in the outfield. As this one is lifted to left field, giving chase is Jeremy Wolf. He will make the catch for out number 2.
It was a good defensive play out there in left, but a nicely hit ball there by Jake Palamaki to make a play out of it. Palamaki entered this game with a 4-game on-base percentage streak. He's reached base at least twice in all the 5 games for the Waves this summer.
For those of you who are watching on the NECBL Broadcast Network, you can start to see the fog coming in as Jeremy Wolf tracked that ball. First pitch to Griffin Helms is a called strike. Helms took the first pitch he saw and flew out to right field his first time out.
Griffin Helms, generally an aggressive hitter at the plate, usually hits anything he could see.
The 0-1 misses low, 1-1.
Helms, who's not a natural outfielder, generally used behind the plate during his time with Kennesaw State, still used in the outfield with the Waves.
This one's fouled back. The 1-2.
Appear to have hit home plate umpire Tim Reiner in an uncomfortable spot there, but still shakes it off and returns to the plate like nothing happened.
Looked like it was right off the shin guard there, but the inner part of the thigh. The 1-2. Misses just low, 2-2, and Lugbar wanted that one, tried to pull that into the zone.
It's one of those underrated elements of being a catcher, trying to pull the ball up into the strike zone.
2-2, swung on and missed. He struck out Helms. That is the third strikeout of the night for Shriver as the Ocean State Waves go right in order through 2.5. 1-1 your score here from Cardines Field. We'll be right back on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back here at Cardines Field, 1-1 your score. The Gulls and the Waves. Home plate umpire Tim Rayner tried to get that ball down from the fence by throwing another baseball at it. It is still lodged in there. It's the ball that won't quit in the fence there, lodged up there.
Very persistent baseball. I guess they just don't like the free advertising for Diamond and the NECBL.
Now we go to the bottom of the third inning. It'll be the 1, 2, and 3 hitter, Jovan Afner, Reed Gamache, and Cooper Elliott. As you can see that baseball, I mean, that's perfect. You got keep your eye on the dream. Right there, center of your screen. Of course, the Diamond logo. Diamond is the official baseball of the NECBL. You can't get much better than that.
Exactly. It's just like everything you need and more, especially from an advertisement. You can get the same out of a sign, but it's so much more concise with a baseball. It's just one of those things that just can't be topped. Maybe it should be an advertising model for the future.
Young Tim Scott leading the way for future advertisers.
Gotta do what I gotta do, right?
Jovan Afner flew out his first time up when he was facing Mason Perryman. Perryman winds, kicks, and deals. That misses away, ball 1.
Mason Perryman, even after last inning in which he threw nearly 20 pitches, still working smoothly and working efficiently with his windup and pitches.
Big swing and a miss by Afner on that breaking ball. Fooled Afner, was looking fastball the whole way.
And Perryman does mix up those pitches well, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Still mixes in occasional breaking ball with the fastball, just mixes it up well for a good syncretic blend of pitching.
That one's fouled back. It'll be 1-2 when we reset and do it again.
Perryman's still working smoothly, maintaining his composure after allowing that run in the first inning that tied things up. Still has the same amount of zip on that fastball as he started out with.
The 1-2. Misses away, ball 2.
And a good job by framing there by Chucky Robinson to try to keep that ball low, even though that last pitch sailed a little bit high over the strike zone. Still doing a good job calling the balls and strikes behind the plate for the Waves.
2-2, swung on and missed. Afner will take a trot down to first base as the ball was dropped, but the out goes 2-3. First strikeout for Perryman. Now, Tim, you and I were talking about the storm that was coming up. We did get a screen cap from the weather. Let's see if we can throw it up on the screen here. Kind of an ugly storm coming our way that's really going to do some damage to the Northern Division and could hit us late tonight and into tomorrow. The NECBL schedule for Saturday looks like it's in jeopardy.
Especially with the Waves at home against the Sanford Mainers tomorrow night.
First pitch that Reed Gamache sees, he fouls out of play. And Lucky Fan gets a baseball. I tell you what, even though with the threat of rain, we have a great crowd on here tonight at Cardines Field. Looks like we're going to have a sellout here tonight.
Especially on a cloudy night. Actually, at Old Mountain Field, there was a similar situation on opening day.
The 0-1, that goes about 58 feet 6 inches, bounces back to our backstop, and will reset. It'll be 1-1.
Good for the crowd to come out here, especially on not the best weather night here early on in the season. Several games like that last year when I worked for the Gulls where several 1,000 fans came, but tonight it's just this great crowd. It's good to hear, especially on the air.
1-1, misses away, 2-1.
And even with the crowd, it doesn't faze Mason Perryman, who's used to throwing in front of thousands of people, back with the USC Trojans as they made it to the NCAA Regionals. Still throwing efficient pitches with the big crowd.
2-1. That plunks Reed Gamache in the shoulder. He'll trot down 90 feet. Second Gull hit today by Perryman.
Perryman likes to work the balls inside. And especially for the hitters that kind of have a more inner batting stance, that could pose a problem, especially since he tries to establish his command on the inside corners, and that could contribute to his high hit by pitch numbers. He had 4 batters when he was with the Trojans this year.
That was right in the shoulder of Reed Gamache. Runner on, 1 down here for the Gulls. Snap throw over, Gamache back safely.
So that snap throw there by Perryman, getting there very quickly. Luckily for the Gulls, Reed Gamache did not have that huge of a lead over at first.
First pitch to Cooper Elliott, misses away, ball 1.
But going back to that aggressive approach that Eric Sorella preaches to his players day in and day out, whether it be going for it on a sacrifice bunt at the plate or picking off runners with that aggressive throw.
Called strike to Cooper Elliott on the outside part of the plate at the knees, a pitcher's pitch there.
And Perryman appears to have more pop on his fastball when he's pitching out of the stretch. Just more efficient.
Snap throw back over to first, back diving again is Gamache. He's very concerned about Reed tonight. That's the 3rd time he's snap thrown in 2 different attempts at first base.
Reed Gamache, not really a base stealing threat, but he's a guy that if you allow him to get on base, he can run you to death.
Ball misses low, 2-1.
But Perryman, going back to that aggressive approach preached by Eric Sorella, just wants to make sure they can get out any way they can. And especially if you have a decent-sized lead, the Waves pitchers have very quick throws over to first base, so it makes all those plays even more interesting.
Snap throw again. Gamache backs safely. He dove for it.
And it's kind of surprising that they're going for Gamache here. In college, he only has
This one's lifted to center field, giving chases Bordeaux. Still going back. He will make the catch in stride for out number 2. Bordeaux went a long way for that one, ranging into left center field.
And these great defensive plays tonight by Bordeaux symbolize his progress as a starting center fielder for the Waves. He usually started in the corner outfield slots with Southern Mississippi last year. However, Bordeaux today making several great plays, including that diving catch on a John Littell fly ball earlier in the 2nd inning. Just really symbolic of his progress in his development out in center field.
First pitch that Bierman sees, he lifts high and foul. That is a very loud strike 1, as it almost took out one of the guys on top of the warehouse there.
And they're just trying to look for that souvenir over there, but that's a way to make an impact on the first pitch of the at-bat, crushing a ball over the warehouse.
First pitch to Bierman is away. It's 1-1.
And Bierman, a notorious power hitter during his time with Villanova, a teammate of Hunter Shriver, had 6 home runs in 50 games with the Wildcats this spring.
1-1 is grounded sharply to the shortstop. Alex King up with it. He's going to go to second for the easy out. It's 6 unassisted, and that is the out. That retires a side. We're still knotted at 1 here at Cardines Field as the fog rolls in here in Newport, Rhode Island. We'll be right back on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Hey, Gulls.
Back here at Cardines Field, it's the Ocean State Waves and the homestanding Newport Gulls. 1-1 your score here at Cardines. Here to take you through the middle innings is the voice of the Ocean State Waves, Tim Scott.
Thanks, Rob. Currently, we have a 1-1 game here at Cardines Field in the first game of the Pell Bridge rivalry. Very exciting time for both of these teams as the Waves bring up the heart of their order to the plate in Tim Lynch, Dylan Bordeaux, and Chucky Robinson. As you can see, the fog starting to pick up a little bit here at Cardines Field. A very eerie setting, kind of a harbinger, hopefully, of what's not to come here, especially in this very exciting ball game. But either way, that'll bring up Tim Lynch to the bat. Lynch, who had a towering 2-run home run last game against Vermont, struck out swinging in his first at-bat against his old Waves teammate. First pitch he sees from Shriver is taken low and outside for ball 1.
Yeah, the fog is something that is a mainstay here at Cardines Field. Many games called because of fog, because we're at sea level.
And the 0-1 ripped down the third base line, in there for a base hit. That's going to bounce into the bullpen. Lynch will go in standing with the double, and the Waves are threatening here early on in the top of the 4th.
That's a nice piece of hitting there by Lynch. Laced it right down the third base line, just past the third base bag into the bullpen down there.
And a no-doubt double.
And that's the first double of the summer for Tim Lynch, who comes back for his second season with the Waves. And now with no outs and one on, here comes his Southern Mississippi teammate, Dylan Bordeaux, who grounded out to shortstop in his last at-bat. Has yet to drive in a run this summer with the Waves, but still a potent offensive threat. As Martin Tavares giving Hunter Shriver signals at third base, with Tim Lynch standing in firmly at second base. First pitch on the way from Shriver is taken in there, curveball for called strike.
Nice breaking ball there by Shriver. Uses it effectively. Second time he's had a threat on base from the Waves. First time resulted in a run scoring.
On an RBI double by Alex King. And now with Lynch standing at second base, pitch on the way, swung on and missed. Another good curveball there from Hunter Shriver, and the count now is 0-2.
That's a great pitch by Shriver. He's going to use that effectively. He doesn't use it as an out pitch. He throws his curveball pretty much any part of a count.
And the 0-2 taken low and inside for a ball. Good stop there behind the plate by Lugbauer to prevent that from going to the screen. Count now 1-2 to Bordeaux.
Third straight curveball thrown by Shriver. He's going to work this breaking ball, try to set up for a fastball, probably away.
Sign, pitch on the way, and that is a fly ball going out to right, giving chase is Elliott. And that is going to be a fair ball hit off the sign. And going to third is Lynch, who thought it was caught, but instead there's a situation here with runners on second and third and nobody out for the Waves after the double by Dylan Bordeaux.
Yeah, it's one of those plays here at Cardines Field, one of those old-time baseball problems that we have here, that at a certain point we lost Cooper Elliott as he disappeared behind the warehouse. The ball dropped in right field for a stand-up double, but you're right. Tim Lynch thought the ball might have been caught. He couldn't keep an eye on the ball. Probably could have scored on that going from second all the way home.
It still puts two runners in scoring position here for Buck McCarthy, who takes the first pitch he sees low for ball one.
Time called here as Lugbauer is going to go out and speak to his battery mate, try to get him on the same page.
So Buck McCarthy on the day singled and scored the lone run so far for the Waves. This is the third straight game in which Buck McCarthy has reached base. And both of those games he reached base with a hit by pitch. So a nice clean way to get on base here if you're Buck McCarthy. As Shriver gets the wind, the pitch on the way, that is high and outside for ball two. Count now is 2-0.
Yeah, that one Shriver missed big time. The ball, release point on the ball was way too early and the ball just sailed up.
Now Shriver getting the sign from Lugbauer. Pitch on the way, a mighty swing and a miss there by Buck McCarthy. Count now 2-1. That was a solid fastball there by Hunter Shriver, just overpowering McCarthy right there. His former Wave teammate was giving him a taste of medicine there with that fastball there as time is called by Rayner.
Martin Tavares at third and Max Bierman at first are even with their respective bags. The shortstop Baker and Reed Gamache at second playing back on the infield.
Pitch on the way, and that is a fly ball hit into the fog to right, but making the catch is Elliott. From third is going to be Lynch, and Bordeaux slides in the second safely. The ball bobbled there by Martin Tavares on the tag. But either way, an RBI sacrifice fly by Buck McCarthy gives the Waves a 2-1 lead here at Cardines Field.
The double out to right field was legitimately 3 minutes ago, if that, and the fog has thickened out in right field, so much so you could barely see the ball fall into the glove of right fielder Cooper Elliott.
Yeah, now it's starting to clear up a little bit in right field. Maybe it was just for that one specific play that they didn't want us to see what was going on, as now Kevin Long, the longtime Gulls pitching coach, is coming out to the mound. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Coach Eric Sorello of the Waves is giving Chucky Robinson a little bit of a chat to figure out what he's going to do at the plate with a runner on third.
All you want to do is lift the ball to the outfield at this point. You have decent speed at third base in Bordeaux. We've seen it defensively here tonight. any ball hit to the outfield, with the exception of a shallow fly ball to left field, should be deep enough to score a run here and put the Waves up by 2. As far as Shriver is concerned, he wants to keep the ball low in the zone, induce a ground ball so the Gulls can get it out. At this point, the Gulls are playing back with just 1 down. They are going to seed a run for an out here.
And the guy they want at bat, if you're the Waves trying to get that deep fly ball you mentioned there, is Chucky Robinson, who whenever he makes contact with the ball, always hits a deep fly ball to the outfield. So this is perfect sacrifice fly territory, as the first pitch he sees a curveball just a little bit out inside there for ball 1.
And maybe a tad high, broke across the plane high there from Shriver.
Getting the sign from Lugbauer, pitch on the way, low in the dirt for ball 2. Bordeaux takes a look but does not advance. Count now 2-0 to the catcher from Southern Mississippi.
And Shriver is doing too much now. I think he's doing more aiming than he is throwing. He should try to rear back and just hit the glove of his battery mate, Drew Lugbauer.
With the 2-0 count coming, Shriver pauses, pitch on the way, up high and away for ball 3. Count now 3-0 to Chucky Robinson.
Now, ton of options for the Waves and Robinson. You could take 2 pitches, see if you could induce a walk. You could give him the green light, let him swing away here.
And the 3-0, that is up high and away for ball 4, and Chucky Robinson will march on down to first base with a walk. Now runners on the corners here with 1 out for the Waves.
And Robinson was looking all the way there, as that was a fastball high and away from Shriver. Runners at the corners, only 1 down here for the Gulls. And this is where the Ocean State Waves are looking to put a crooked number up on the board, as you see Drew Lugbauer giving signs to his infield. Double play territory, so again, you want a ground ball if you're Shriver. Want to induce that ground ball, try to get 2, definitely 1, 2's a bonus.
And with Alex King, who had an RBI double in his last at bat, that was going to be important as the first pitch taken in there for a called strike. It was King who put the Waves ahead of the Gulls, 1-0 on a fly ball out there to left field to drive in, at the time, Buck McCarthy. So King looking to see if he can get more runs on the board here. The 0-1 taken low in the dirt. Good stop there by Lugbauer to prevent that from going to the backstop. Count now 1-1. Or 2-0. Or
no, you were right the first time. It's 1-1. First pitch was a called strike.
Scoreboard kind of hard to see from my angle, as now Shriver looks over at first from Robinson, but he is back safely. You definitely see more urgency from the Waves on their pickoff throws as opposed to the Gulls on their pickoff throws. Shriver just kind of lobs it over to first, whereas Mason Perryman would fire that ball over to, well, Tim Lynch in that situation. As he looks back, pitch on the way to King, and that is a pop-up. That'll go right on the street down the first base line. Count now 1-2.
Yeah, the check by Shriver was just, it was not his true pickoff move. That was just to let Chucky Robinson know that he's being watched by the lefty.
Still keeping an eye on Robinson is Shriver, and he's going to fire over to first. Robinson steps back in safely, but a more urgent throw over there by Shriver, trying to get the pickoff there. Even so, the count is still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. That is taken in there for a ball, and it appears the count will be even at 2-2.
Lugbauer wanted that as he was up ready to fire it on third base. Try to pick off Dylan Bordeaux.
Still taking a look over at Robinson at first. Pitch on the way. That is low in the dirt. Good stop, though, by Lugbauer. The count is now full here to Alex King.
We'll see if Robinson will be released on the pitch with a payoff pitch coming here.
Most likely that'll be the situation because Eric Sorella and his base coaches are pretty aggressive. And now there's going to be a pickoff play over there. Now stuck in a pickle is Robinson, and they try to get him out of the plate, and the throw is in time. So a pickoff move there by the Gulls results in a tag out at the plate to Dylan Bordeaux. And instead of the Waves taking a 3-1 lead on an aggressive base running tactic, it's still a 2-1 game with 2 outs here for the Gulls.
That's the old 1-3-4-2 put out, just how they designed it. As the Gulls knew that Robinson was going to be released, on the pitch and was able to get the lead runner at the dish.
And the payoff pitch taken in there for strike 3. Alex King strikes out looking here to end the crazy top of the 4th. The Waves take a 2-1 lead back on a sacrifice fly by Buck McCarthy. We'll bring you all the action in the bottom of the 4th as the Waves have a 2-1 lead here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here to Cardines Field here in Newport. Tim Scott, Rob Massey, and now here's our third member of the broadcast team with an NECBL scoring update. Here's Megan Kirby.
Thanks, Tim. All right, so we got the Mystic Schooners are leading the Vermont Mountaineers 2-0 in the top of the 5th. The Laconia Muskrats are leading the Keene Swamp Bats 3-1 in the top of the 4th. Plymouth Pilgrims lead the Valley Blue Sox 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th. North Adams Steeplecats and the New Bedford Bay Sox are still 0-0 in the top of the 1st. We have the Danbury Westerners are falling to the Sanford Mainers 5-0 in the bottom of the 3rd, and the Ocean State Waves are leading the Newport Gulls 2-1 in the top of the 4th.
Thanks, Meg. Seems like a crazy day around the NECBL, as now Mason Perryman back out for his 4th inning of work, now with a 2-1 cushion over the Newport Gulls in his first start of the summer. Still working efficiently with his pitches as he's warming up with Dom Veltri, the designated hitter. Currently at 48 pitches is Mason Perryman, who threw about 54 on his last outing against the Virginia Cavaliers in the NCAA Regionals. Quite a different setting from an NCAA Regional game as opposed to Cardines Field in an early regular season game in June, but still Mason Perryman delivering for the Waves.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every field has their quirks, but to say Cardines Field has more than one quirk is to say that Narragansett Bay is a tad damp.
Especially with the ball that hit off the triangle early on in the ball game. But either way, it's going to be the 5, 6, and 7 batters. Drew Lugbauer, Jeremy Wolf, and John Littell due up. That was the impact inning back in the 2nd in which the Gulls scored their first run of the game. And the first pitch seen by Lugbauer is deep to center field, but Dylan Bordeaux ranges to his left to make the catch. And there's one quick out here in the bottom of the 4th.
That was a great catch there by Dylan Bordeaux, who was 3 steps to, or more than 3 steps there to his left as he caught the ball basically off of his hip, leaning towards right field there.
Still a great running play there by Bordeaux on a day with great catches. And the first pitch seen here by Jeremy Wolf is taken high and inside for a ball. But you go back to that play there for a second, and you realize Dylan Bordeaux is not a natural center fielder. That makes you realize that he's making a lot of progress over there. Is now ball 1 high and away here to Jeremy Wolf, who singled in his first at bat back in the 2nd inning.
Also explains the need for the routes that he's taking, not necessarily used to it.
And the 1-1 taken high and outside, but called a strike there by Rayner. Count now is 1-2, but Bordeaux is not even expected to be the team's starting center fielder as Ryan Bland's working his way back from injury. As the offering in there for a called strike, I apologize, the count is 2-2 here to Jeremy Wolf. But the Waves still without 2 outfielders from last year's team. Ryan Bland working his way back from a hand injury, and AJ Ramirez, who's coming tomorrow. And the 2-2 is popped down the third base line. That'll go down the street. Down the third base line, count now full at 2-2.
Better call. Newport Glass.
So we want to do it all again here. But even with those 2 outfielders missing big parts of the 2014 Waves doing just fine with the 3 outfielders they have now. As the 2-2 is taken low and outside for ball 3, it's all full here to Jeremy Wolf.
And Wolf right now just looking for something in his zone. Not going to try to do too much as Perryman having problems finding the zone.
Payoff pitch on the way. That is fouled right off the screen behind home plate. And we're going to do it all again. Count still full here, Jeremy Wolf.
Wolf had a single his first at bat. With 1 down, Gulls need a base runner here.
And payoff pitch coming here from Mason Perryman. That is foul tip off the heel of Jeremy Wolf. That'll roll down third base. Al Leyva, the hitting coach and also third base coach, just flipping it back to the ball boy. And counts now full. Getting a new ball from the home plate umpire, Tim Rayner, is Mason Perryman, still trying to work that grip a little bit with the new ball as Rayner sweeps home plate.
That was a nice gesture by Tim Rayner, giving Jeremy Wolf a minute or two to recover. He went all the way out to the mound to deliver that baseball.
And payoff pitch once again coming from Perryman. That is high and outside for ball 4. And Jeremy Wolf will trot on down to first base. Tying run now on for the Waves.
That's a good battle there by Jeremy Wolf. 9 pitches in the at-bat. And he wins. As only one real called strike against Wolf. Everything else was fouled off by Wolf there in that at-bat.
Good patient at-bat there by Wolf. Try to maintain the tempo at the plate, battling off those close foul balls, and works a walk out of the deal. So that gets a base runner for the Gulls as John Littell comes up to the plate. And the first pitch he sees is taken low and outside for ball 1. Littell, the outfielder from Oklahoma State, flew out to center field on a nice play by Dylan Bordeaux that might end up in Bristol, Connecticut by the end of the day on SportsCenter. And the next pitch he sees, taken in there for a called strike on the low outside corner. Count now 1-1.
That's a pitcher's pitch right there. Nothing that Littell could do about it. It was knee high on the outside part of the plate. Caught just enough of it for the call.
So with Wolf standing over on first base, he's going to go on the play. Robinson fires over to second. The throw is going to be in time. A caught stealing there by Chucky Robinson. The third runner he has nailed down at second base this summer, and the Waves get 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
That was a nice pickoff play there by Robinson, who was able to release the ball quickly and got Jeremy Wolf by a step.
Chucky Robinson can pop from his stance to a throwing position in 0.8 of a second, and you can see his speed there on the play. The 0-2 bounces off of Robinson's knee pad, bounces into the Newport dugout. Count now 1-2 here to John Littell. 2-1, I should say. Oh, it is 2-2. Scoreboard, once again, pretty tricky to read with some cameras in the way, but it's all good. 2-2 count here to John Littell here at Cardines Field. Pitch on the way. That is a curveball taken just outside, and now it's a full count.
You're also not used to sitting in that seat. You're usually down here, down the end.
I've been in all 4 seats except for the seat right next to me. I've been in 3 of the 4 here at Cardines Field. And that payoff pitch is lined down the left field line, in there for a base hit. Giving chase is McCarthy, but going in the second with a double is John Littell. And the Waves are knocking, and the Gulls, I should say, are knocking on the door here in the bottom of the 4th.
How big was that caught stealing by Chucky Robinson to get Jeremy Wolf at second base? We would be knotted here at 2 if not for that great throw.
And now Eric Sorella coming to the mound to talk to Mason Perryman, bringing the entire infield in. This is not an uncommon tactic here by Sorella, bringing the infield in, trying to talk about strategy, as Mason Perryman is currently standing at 64 pitches and just calling strategy there. Sometimes he calls the whole infield in to take the pitcher out, but instead Sorella is staying with the pitcher from USC, as now coming up to bat is URI's own Martin Tavares.
Martin Tavares, the ground out, the RBI ground out, as I'm looking down the left side of the field there, and I'm trying to see if the Waves have something going in the bullpen. We'll take a look at that for you in a second.
As Martin Tavares, who drove in the lone run of the game for the Gulls on an RBI ground out, first pitch he sees is high on the outside corner for strike 1, and there is some action going on in the bullpen. It appears to be number 29, Richard Lovelady, who would be appearing for his 4th straight game if he came in for the Waves tonight. Looking back at second is Perryman. Pitch on the way, and that is a line drive grounded straight to Dawson. He'll fire on the first. The throw is in time to end the inning and to keep the Ocean State Waves in the lead. We've played 4 full innings here at Cardines Field. Waves 2, Gulls 1, right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Hey, Gulls fans, you don't have to.
A little bit of sledgehammer going on there. Back here at Cardines Field, Tim Scott alongside Rob Massey, Megan Kirby, George Bissell, and Billy McNeil here at the Cardines Field press box. Waves lead 2-1 as the first pitch to Dom Beltry taken high and inside for ball 1. Don Veltri on the day lined out to shortstop Kevin Baker in the second. And the next pitch he sees is low and inside for ball 2. Count 2-0 here to the outfielder from Belmont University. Hunter Shriver, the former Ocean State Wave, back out for his 5th inning of work. Next pitch he throws grounded straight into the Newport Gulls dugout. First strike here from Shriver, count now 2-1. Dom Veltri can hit and he can also pitch. He has yet to appear in a game for the Waves, but he made 7 starts on the spring with Belmont. And the 2-1 pitch fouled down the third base line. That'll careen into the street. And now Shriver is an even 2-2 count to Veltri.
Shriver at 68 pitches through 4 and 1 batter. 4 innings, 1 batter, and
that's grounded down the first base line, giving chase his first base coach Harrison Barlow. Just tossed that back into the dugout. Count still 2-2.
I almost stole a pitch from you there.
It's all good. The camaraderie of Broadcast Network here on the NECBL. It's all good. And the count still 2-2. Pitch on the way, and that is laced down the left field line. That'll go once again down the street near the visitors center, and the count still 2-2.
The fog is starting to really roll in here. It hasn't sunk in, hasn't hit ground level yet, but you can see up towards the light stanchions.
And the 2-2, another ground ball. Making the play is first base coach Harrison Barlow for the second straight time. Count now 2-2.
The unofficial line of the fog as far as how low it is set, if you look at the left field wall, it's right at the bottom of the signs out on the left field wall. That's where the visibility changes. Everything is relatively clear below it, but just above it, which is going to make the outfield a lot tougher tonight.
Payoff pitch, low and inside. Again, ball 3. Count is now full here, Don Veltri. But do you think the fog is playing a big role, especially with these fly balls out to the outfield? As that is taken in there for called strike 3. Don Veltri goes down looking, and that's the second consecutive strikeout looking here by Hunter Shriver.
I was never an outfielder when I did play. I never played at this level, which is why I'm sitting here. But I would say that it's definitely gonna do some damage to outfielders, as the ball's gonna be coming out of what is basically the soup of a fog, which is starting to get very thick, high in the sky here and coming back down. You won't be able to track it.
First pitch of the at-bat here to Nick Dawson. It's got to play a number 2, especially when you're in the batter's box and this fog's starting to seep in, kind of messes with your visibility here, especially with a hard thrower like Shriver on the mound. And Dawson gets the next pitch and he ropes it down the first base line. However, Max Bierman will make the easy 3 unassisted to get the second out here for the Gulls. But Hunter Shriver, working efficiently here, has now retired 3 straight batters, and in his first start against his old team has 4 strikeouts. So at that, he has 10 on the season, which means, as opposed to last year when he was platooned between the bullpen and the starting rotation, establishing his command as a potentially powerful starter here for the Waves, or for the Gulls, I should say, formerly for the Waves. But that'll bring up the top of the order here for the Ocean State Waves, and Jake Palamaki takes the first pitch he sees, a curveball in there for a called strike, count 0-1. Palamaki on the day struck out swinging to lead off the game, and he flew out to left. Next pitch he sees is taken on, just misses the high outside corner. Fastball there from Shriver. Count is now even at 1-1.
From here, from a very elevated standpoint and just off of the plate, that looked like a good pitch, but that's why we're not calling balls and strikes from this point.
And that is swung on and missed there by Palamaki. Count now 1-2 from Shriver. Palamaki has reached base in all 4 of the Waves games so far. But the kicker is the fact that he's reached base at least twice in those games, as the 0-2 offering, curveball just missing outside. Count now 2-2 here to Palamaki. Palamaki just finished his freshman season at Boston College, led the team in on-base percentage and stolen bases, helping Boston College to the middle of the pack in the ACC. And the 2-2 is a rocket off the top wooden grandstand here at Cardines Field. Almost hit Waves Gulls pitching coach Kevin Long. Count now 2-2.
Check out the dugout that they're showing, the Waves dugout. Look at the fog right in front of it now. It's starting to really settle in now.
But the Waves still handling like champions over there on that side, as the 2-2 pitch is chopped in there. Going to make an attempt to catch the ball is Gamache, but it drops in there for a single. And the 5-game on-base streak for Jake Palamaki continues, and the Waves have a base runner here with 2 outs in the 5th.
Gamache made a valiant effort after that ball, trying to catch it over his shoulder. Couldn't really read it. Elliott came in to try to field it as well. It dropped in between them. And just a tough play between second and right field. A bloop single.
And now with a runner on first, here comes Griffin Helms. The first pitch he sees is high and inside there for ball 1, count 1-0. Helms, the catcher slash outfielder from Kennesaw State, flew out to right in his first at bat and struck out against Shriver in the 3rd. As Shriver takes a look over at the speedy Palamaki at first, tries to pick him off. However, Palamaki just scampers over to first base in time. A lot more urgency on pickoff attempts here by Hunter Shriver. As he goes into his windup pitch on the way, a ground ball hit straight at Gamache. Gamache will go for the easy out at first, and that'll end things here in the top of the 5th. Waves get a hit, but they strand him at first. We've played 4.5 innings here at Cardines Field. Waves lead the Gulls 2-1 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Fans, we're going to do
2-1 lead for the Waves here at Cardines Field in the first game of the Pell Bridge rivalry. Tim Scott, Rob Massey with you, as alongside Meg Kirby, George Bissell, and Billy McNeil. And a new pitcher on for the Waves here after 4 solid innings from Mason Perryman. In for his 4th straight appearance of the summer, here comes Richard Lovelady, the southpaw from Kennesaw State. Pitched this spring with East Georgia State of the NJCAA, but in his 4th appearance only allowed his first run of the season 2 nights ago against Vermont. But he's an efficient left-handed pitcher that can get you outs consistently. Coming with a starting pitching background, he's usually a 1-inning relief pitcher that can get outs and help the Waves bullpen extend itself a little bit. But he'll come up here to face the 9-1-2 batters as the first pitch seen by Kevin Baker is fouled off behind the Gulls dugout. Count now 0-1.
Now we came into smoke on the water. It's not smoke on the water, it's fog on the field here at Cardines.
As the weather definitely playing.
I can barely see the outfield from where we are.
I can kind of see it as the Waves jersey is a little more distinct with the blue. As the 0-2 is swung on and missed there by Kevin Baker. Count now 0-2. But it's interesting, this fog playing with the visibility a little bit, but it still keeps the hitters unfazed, as all that matters is a white shiny object that's coming at them, not quite the fog. The 0-2, that is laced down the left field line, giving Chase's right field line. It is going to be Helms, and he's going to go into second base with a double. And Kevin Baker gets the Gulls back on the base paths with a double and starts the night off from a rocky foot there by Richard Lovelady.
That was a no-doubt double there for Kevin Baker, who lined it just inside the warehouse down there. If it hits the warehouse, it's a foul ball, as you know full well, Tim Scott. It was just to the left of the warehouse, and a no-doubt stand-up double for Kevin Baker. The Gulls threaten again here and see if they can get a run across.
And Lovelady will be facing the lefty, Jovan Afner, here in the top of the 5th. Afner, who came into this game with a .368 average, is 0 for 2 today. He struck out swinging against Mason Perryman and also flew out to left. So the outfielder from the University of Kansas thinking he's not in Kansas anymore, as the first pitch he sees is taken in there for a called strike from Richard Lovelady.
The final line on Mason Perryman, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned, a walk, a strikeout. He plunked 2 batters, and he threw 66 pitches.
Solid outing for the first start of the season for Perryman. Lovelady winds, pitch on the way, high and outside for ball 1. Count now even at 1-1 here to Jovan Afner.
Afner, who was 5 for 5 in his last game here on Wednesday night. As Mike Coombs said, he had a career day. That's a career day for most people.
Still maintains an active threat in the box. Pitch on the way. A little bit of a curveball there from Lovelady. Just curls outside. Count now 2-1.
And that's what you want to see in your leadoff hitter. I mean, I was thinking about it and talking to some of the people before the game. Afner, at least on Wednesday night, reminded me a lot of Wade Boggs. Nothing special about his hits. They were just no doubt singles. He was able to push runners across and end up scoring.
And the 2-1 is taken in there for a called strike. Good fastball clipping the outside corner there by Lovelady. Count is now even at 2-2.
Some of our other umpires in the stands here did not like that second strike call.
And now Lovelady looking back at second base with Kevin Baker standing there as the pitch comes, and that is an inside pitch, rope to shortstop. Nick Dawson extends, but he won't have a play as now the Gulls have runners on the corners with nobody out and getting the offense going early on in this fog-ridden Cardines field.
That was a great athletic play for Nick Dawson, ranging all the way to his right on the third base side of second, making the snag there. If that ball gets through, we are tied here at 2. Dawson could not make a play, but stopping the ball in and of itself was the play so far of the game. As you can see, here's a look at the left fielder Buck McCarthy. We can barely make him out on our HD camera. He's disappearing. He looks like a poltergeist out there.
A hollowing feeling, especially if you're in the outfield. You can barely see anybody out there. Is now Reed Gamache, a former Wave and Gull, coming up to the plate. And the first pitch he sees skips into the dirt. However, no advance there by Afner, and the count's 1-0.
Time's being called here as Tim Rayner will dust off the plate. You know, I don't know where the umpires are clearly as far as visibility goes, but if you're the Gulls, you need to push at least one run across here to knot this game up, because if the umpires after this inning feel that this game cannot be played due to visibility anymore, it would be a legal game and a win for the Ocean State Waves.
We would take the victory in pride there. But, of course, we want to see how this game ends, as that pitch taken on the high inside corner, called strike there by Rayner, and now the count is even at 1-1. But in my 4 years in the NECBL, that will be the first time a game has been called for visibility reasons. You could still see the ball quite well, especially over by the home plate area, as Lovelady goes into the line, the pitch on the way. A fastball taken low and inside there for ball 2. Count now 2-1.
When I was with the Pilgrims in my first season in 2013, we had a game against, it was Vermont, that was suspended because of visibility. A fog just came into, you're at Forges Field, the fog just came in and just sat there and you couldn't see anything. And you remember Radio Row back then was out in left field.
And the next pitch seen there by Gamache skips into the dirt. Good stop, though, by Robinson. The count now 3-1. But definitely out in left field, it would definitely compromise your view, especially since the fog is rolling out into the outfield. Luckily here, under a roof, you get to see a little bit more of the action. But if you're in the outfield, it's a little bit more challenging, especially with that cloud of fog seeping right over. And pitch on the way. That is a line drive hit straight to Dawson. He gets 1 out and 2, a double play. Nick Dawson, the second time today, gets a 4-3 double play and gets 2 big outs in the process.
Nothing you can do about that if you're Jovan Afner at first base. It was a liner that if it gets through and you're Afner, you're trying to get to third base. He was only a couple of strides off of first. Another look when I found liner to Dawson, was able to get the second double play of the game.
Just demonstrates the defensive efficiency there by Nick Dawson, making several great plays throughout the summer. And now Lovely steps off the rubber a little bit, adjusts his pants perhaps, and now that'll bring up Cooper Elliott from Washington State to the plate. Elliott on the day, 1 for 2 with a single and a fly out to center. And first pitch he sees is taken in there for a called strike. Lovelady mostly working with his fastball tonight, sometimes mixes in a season 9-5 curveball, but he still manages to overpower batters with his fastball, making him a domineering relief presence for the Waves. And the 0-1, that is a pop-up. Giving chase is Lovely, but it's going to be called off by Jake Palamaki. He almost dropped the ball, but still manages to come up with the play to end the frame here in the bottom of the 5th. We played 5 innings here at Cardines Field. Ocean State Waves lead the Newport Gulls 2-1 right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Saturday.
And we're back here at Cardines Field here in Newport. Early on, before we came back, both umpires Bill McCullum and Tim Rayner were discussing whether or not to temporarily call a delay, whether concerning the fog. However, the game will still go on despite the conference. And that'll bring in a new pitcher for the Newport Gulls. And to tell you more about Brad Wegman, here is Rob Massey.
Thanks very much, Tim Scott. Brad Wegman comes in his second appearance for the Newport Gulls. This is his first appearance in relief. He started a couple of nights ago. He has an 0-1 record on the season, 2.25 ERA. In 4 innings, he's given up 4 hits, 3 runs. Only one of them was earned. That was down in Mystic. 2 strikeouts, facing 16 batters. You know, this would be a game weather-wise and fog-wise. You don't delay a fog game because all the fog is going to do is get thicker. Fogs don't dissipate at nighttime. They come in. So if you're going to do anything, you will suspend this game if we were tied, or you suspend the game, and since it's after 5 innings, it's technically a legal game. This could go in the win column for the Ocean State Waves.
And the Waves looking to add some insurance runs here in the top of the 6th will bring up their heart of the order, Tim Lynch, Dylan Bordeaux, and Buck McCarthy to face Brad Wegman, who's a teammate of 3 Waves right now, AJ Ramirez, Andrew Wright, and today's starter Mason Perryman. And the first pitch seen here by Lynch is taken low and inside for ball 1. Lynch, who hit his first home run of the season 2 days ago at Vermont, is 1 for 2 today, led off the 4th with a double and scored the go-ahead run. Next pitch he sees ropes the ball off this netting down the third base line. Good scoop, though, by third base coach Shane O'Connell. And the count now 1-1 here to Tim Lynch.
Final line on Hunter Shriver, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned, a walk, 5 Ks. He threw 82 pitches.
Very solid outing there for Shriver as the next pitch seen there by Lynch called in there for a strike on the curveball from Brad Wegman. Count now 1-2.
Shriver is on the hook tonight for the loss if the Gulls cannot recover.
And against his former team, that's got to sting a little bit as now Wegman goes into the wind. The pitch on the way. It's a ground ball hit straight to Gamache at second. He'll fire on the first, get the routine 4-3 ground out. And that is now the 3rd straight batter retired there, second I should say, by Gulls pitching.
Yeah, the Ocean State Waves, when you really look, only 4 hits. There was only the 1 walk by Shriver in 5 innings, but the hits were costly as it was a single and then a roaring double by Alex King in the 2nd inning, a double by Tim Lynch in the 4th inning, and he was sent home with a double by Dylan Bordeaux.
And first pitch of the at-bat here to Bordeaux is swung on and missed there for called strike, a 1 count. Now Bordeaux on the day is 1 for 2 with a double. He was thrown out at home plate on a double steal attempt as the next pitch there from Wegman is in there for a called strike, count 0-2. For Bordeaux, a speedy center fielder making several great plays out there today. This pitch comes in and it's a look what I found ground ball straight to Wegman. He'll skip on over to first. And that is out number 2. 2 quick outs here for Brad Wegman here in the 6th.
And that's what Wegman needs. He needs a quick 1-2-3 inning. The Gulls want to get back up to the plate and trying to scratch across the tying run here.
And especially for the Gulls coming up next inning, it's a potent part of the order. They're 4, 5, and 6 batters. Meanwhile, the Waves will send up their 6th batter of their order, 3rd batter of the inning in Buck McCarthy, and the first pitch he sees is taken high and away there. Fastball from Wegman, ball 1, count 1-0. McCarthy on the day is 1 for 2. He singled and scored in the 2nd and drove in the go-ahead run on a sacrifice fly. As the count now is 1-1 here to Buck McCarthy. So Wegman takes a breath there. Gets into the windup, pitch on the way, and it's a ground ball ripped into the 5.5 hole in there for a base hit. 2nd hit of the game today for Buck McCarthy. And that's exactly what you need here against Brad Wegman if you're the Ocean State Waves.
Yeah, McCarthy now 2 for 2 on the day. The sacrifice fly RBI, the only other at-bat that he had, or the only other plate appearance that he had in the 4th inning. 2 singles, both no-doubters, as the single that he had in the 2nd inning was a solid rope on the 3rd base line, just over the 3rd base bag.
And that is the first game all season in which Buck McCarthy has had multiple hits. And after a slight delay there for Chucky Robinson to take off his catcher's gear, he'll come up to bat here with McCarthy at first. Chucky Robinson on the day hit a deep fly ball to center field in the 2nd and walked and advanced to 2nd in the 4th. Robinson came into this game with an impressive 375 average, and the first pitch he sees, he ropes down the first base line. That'll careen in foul territory and the street that lines Cardines Field. Count 0-1.
Newport Glass.
So Chucky Robinson had 2 doubles on the season. He had 3 home runs with Southern Mississippi in his sophomore season there. Hailing from Danville, Illinois. Next pitch he sees, taken in there for a called strike. Count 0-2 on a crisp fastball there from Brad Wegman.
That was a nice pitch by Wegman. Right on the outside part of the plate, right knee high. All Robinson could do is nod his head.
And now maintaining an established command of an 0-2 count here against Robinson. Time is called by home plate umpire Tim Reiner before Wegman can deliver the pitch. So Buck McCarthy standing over on first. Chucky Robinson coming up to bat. He's behind in the count 0-2 on this very foggy evening here at Cardines Field. Getting the signal from Lugbauer is Wegman. Pitch on the way, that is inside. Almost clipped the wrist there of Robinson. Count now 1-2 to the catcher from Southern Miss. Chucky Robinson, 203 hitter with Southern Miss last spring. Brings a powerful approach to the plate each time he's at the bat. Payoff pitch on the way, low and outside for ball 2. Count now even at 2-2.
All Robinson wants to do is get a pitch to drop into the outfield for a single, keep the threat going for the Waves, who could use an insurance run as we get later in the game.
And the pitch on the way, and that is a high fly ball carrying out to left field. Looking up is Littell, and that ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Chucky Robinson. And the Waves add to their lead with a 4-1 advantage over the Newport Gulls. First home run of the summer there for Chucky Robinson, and it could not have come at a better time.
I was saying that Robinson just wanted to drop it into the outfield. He decided to drop it into the playground on the opposite end of the left field fence for a 2-run home run, a no-doubter. As now the Ocean State Waves take a 4-1 lead and 2 very big insurance runs as we get into the late innings.
Chucky Robinson puts a good swing on that ball. As you said, Rob, drops it right into the playground. A lot of big-time shots to that playground, and the first pitch here in the recovery at bat for Wegman is taken in there for a called strike to Alex King. Alex King on the day doubled and drove home a run in the second, and also struck out looking as the next pitch he sees goes low in the dirt. Count now 1-1. But hitting it in, the ball seemed to emerge right into the fog out there in left field, and it literally was gone. And the count now 2-1 on the fastball, low and away here to King. So Wegman getting the sign here from Lugbauer, working quickly between pitches. Pitch on the way, another crisp fastball in there for a called strike. Count is even at 2-2.
Now all Wegman has to do is just work to get the out here.
And 2-2 pitch on the way. Curveball taken just outside the corner there. Count now full here to Alex King.
And Wegman doesn't want to lose Alex King here. He needs the out, needs to get back into the dugout so the Gulls can start chipping away at this deficit.
And payoff pitch low in the dirt for ball 4. And Alex King reaches base for the second time today, but this time with a walk.
Well, give King credit there. He was able to read the breaking ball that broke just a little bit too far outside 3 times. Wegman in a big jam, already giving up the big fly with 2 down. Needs to stop the bleeding here.
And that'll bring up Dom Veltri to the plate. And the first pitch he sees, he pops down the third base line. That'll curve foul into the street. Seems like there's a lot of traffic to dodge that foul ball. The count now 0-1 here to Veltri. Veltri on the day 0 for 2. He lined out to short in the second, and he struck out looking in the fourth, trying to avoid striking out once again. The 0-1, he rips a foul ball again down the third base line. That'll go deeper onto the street, and the count now 0-2.
And once again, Wegman with 1 pitch can end this inning and send the Gulls back up to the plate to start chipping away.
Now looking back at first is Wegman. First standing there is Alex King. Getting the signal from Lugbauer. pitch on the way. Veltri hits a ground ball to short. Trying to make the play there is Baker, and the throw was just in time. And that will end the inning. First base coach Harrison Barlow does not agree on that play. However, that will bring an end to the top of the 6th. We've played 5.5 full here at Cardines Field. Waves 4, Gulls 1, right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
The New England Collegiate.
And welcome back here to Cardines Field in the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Ocean State Waves lead the Newport Gulls 4-1. A foggy night for baseball here at Cardines. Tim Scott alongside Rob Massey here for the call. Also joined up here in the press box by Meg Kirby, George Bissell, and Billy McNeil. As now the heart of the Newport Gulls order coming up in Max Bierman, Drew Lugbauer, and Jeremy Wolf. And early on in the middle of the inning break, Waves manager Eric Sorella went out to talk to Bill McCullum about the inning-ending groundout that retired Dom Veltri. Very close play. Nothing came out of it, though, as first pitch taken in there to a called strike here to Max Bierman. Richard Lovelady back out for his second inning of work, taking on Bierman, who's 0 for 2 with a double play and a fielder's choice on the day. And the 1-1 hit right off the mound, and that'll go right in the center field for a leadoff single for Bierman. What can you do on that ball there as the ball skipped right off the mound and right in the center field.
Sent it right back up where it came from, and this is how the Gulls are going to have to get themselves back into this ball game. Chip away, a bloop, a bleeder, a single, a double, and possibly a triple, and all of a sudden we're knotted up here, as Jerry Trupiano used to say.
Wishful thinking at this point, hopefully for the Ocean State Waves, as they look to win their second straight game. Lovelady on the mound for his 4th straight game, taking on Drew Lugbauer. And the first pitch seen by Lugbauer hits and misplayed there by Richard Lovelady. And that will be an error on the pitcher on a tough fielding ground ball there for Lovelady. And instead of a double play situation, there's now 2 on and nobody out here for the Gulls.
That's a play he should have made. The ball went skirted right under his glove, but a play that Lovelady should have made that they error to. That's a good call by Billy McCallum and George Bissell. That's a clean error. That's an oxymoron there, but that's an error on the pitcher Lovelady. And the Gulls threaten here, tying run 270 feet away.
And coming up to bat here is Jeremy Wolf, who hit the lone Gulls home run, as the first pitch he sees is taken high and inside for ball 1.
Again, the Gulls don't want to do anything other than try to get themselves singles and doubles here, try to push runs across slowly. Don't play small ball, but don't try to swing for the fences, especially in this fog with this heavy wind as well.
And the next pitch seen by Wolf taken in there, just a little high actually, ball 2. Count now 2-0 here, Jeremy Wolf.
And with Lovelady looking like he's struggling a bit, especially in his own head after the error, make him throw to you.
Maybe a mound meeting potentially by Eric Sorella in a little bit, or pitching coach Brian Kehoe. And the 2-0, looking back at second is Lovelady. Pitch on the way, low in the dirt, ball 3. And Jeremy Wolf in a big spot here, up 3-0 against Lovelady.
And we'll see what Mike Coombs does here for Jeremy Wolf. Does he have the green light 3-0, or is he going to watch a pitch go by the whole way?
And Wolf staying a little bit with an open stance as Lovelady looks back to second. The 3-0 pitch, he'll take all the way, and he'll go strutting on down the first base with a walk. That'll load the bases here for John Littell with nobody out here in the 6th.
I tell you what, again, from where we are perched here in the nest, it looked like a good pitch there, and as the manager for the Ocean State Waves goes out, he has a couple of words for Tim Reiner, the home plate umpire.
And now bringing the whole infield in there, and it appears that'll be the night for Richard Lovelady, as we have a new pitcher coming onto the mound. We'll try to get you that as soon as possible, and it appears to be 2-time Wave right-handed pitcher Matt Murphy coming in for his second appearance of the summer. And when we come back, we're going to tell you more about Matt Murphy right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. And we're back here at Cardines Field. Bases loaded, nobody out here for the Newport Gulls, and a new pitcher on the mound for the Ocean State Waves. It is Wakefield's own Matt Murphy making his second appearance of the summer. Matt Murphy with Assumption College was a two-way player. Had 9 appearances on the mound with a 4.91 ERA with the Assumption Greyhounds of the Northeast 10 Conference. He pitched opening day for an inning and a third before he had to leave the game with a knee injury that kept him out of action for a week. But Matt Murphy, the guy who can throw it in the low 90s, this is a big spot for him to get potentially big outs here against the bottom of the Newport Gulls order.
The final line on Lovelady, 1+ inning pitched, 3 hits, so far no runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. He threw 22 pitches. He is responsible for all 3 Gulls on base here. Right now, he would have no decision even if all 3 of those runners came across. Right now, Mason Perryman's W that he is in line for is in jeopardy.
And with John Littell coming up to the bat, Matt Murphy's got to try to pitch composed here, as Littell was a draft pick of the Nationals last year, and the first pitch of the day for Matt Murphy is taken in there for a called strike. John Littell on the day, 1 for 2 with the double, but was left stranded in the 4th inning by, at the time, Mason Perryman. So the Waves infield sort of shallow, not quite in, as the next pitch, curveball, just low and outside there. Ball 1, count is even to John Littell.
Waves are in full double play depth. They are going to seed the run coming in, trying to get 1, maybe 2 here on a ground ball.
Murphy goes into the wind, the pitch on the way, and that is a laser down the first base line. Almost hit some fans there, sitting over near the concession stand. But either way, it's going to be a 1-2 count here to John Littell.
Littell's going to need to go get some new lumber as he broke his bat there on that swing.
A screaming line drive there down the first base line. Some fans sitting under the roof near the concession stand had to get out of the way. Count now 1-2. Murphy still working with some fastball, sometimes mixing in a curveball. But mostly for Matt Murphy, you're going to see him try to overpower batters with the fastball.
Yeah, here's my fastball, come hit it. If you can, good luck to your bat.
And especially with the bases loaded, Murphy needs his fastballs to be on point. As the 1-2 pitch on the way, and that's a ground ball hit straight to Alex King. He flips on second for 1, over to first, a 6-4-3 double play. The run will score, but 2 big-time outs here for the Ocean State Waves, as now they lead 4-2.
Yeah, and that was exactly what the Waves wanted to do, staying back at double play depth, seeding the 1 run. It is harmless to them right now, and so isn't the runner at third base in the way of Drew Lugbauer. They wanted to get the clean double play. Nice job by Alex King to scoop that up, go to Nick Dawson quickly, and turn the 6-4-3 double play.
And the Waves, who turned 4 double plays this summer already, now have 7 double plays, counting the 2 double plays from Nick Dawson. And the first pitch seen there is a wild pitch. That'll skirt into the dirt. Scoring from third is Drew Lugbauer. And the Newport Gulls are within 1 here of the Ocean State Waves, courtesy of that wild pitch by Matt Murphy that hit right off the knee pad of Chucky Robinson.
We're going to take a look at the official ruling on that. And it was definitely a wild pitch, just confirming down there. And that's exactly the opposite result that the Ocean State Waves wanted after that beautiful double play.
And the 1-0 taken in there for a called strike here to Martin Tavares. So the Waves now lead by 1, but Tavares, who's a teammate of many Ocean State Waves as he goes to the University of Rhode Island, 0 for 3 with an RBI ground out, as that next pitch fouled off the netting down the third base line. Count now 1-2.
Right now, if you're Murphy, you want the out, and you want to go back to your dugout.
Murphy still working efficiently, got the big double play, the wild pitch, but even so, more harmless as opposed to having another runner on base to tie the score. As the pitch on the way swung on and missed for strike 3. Matt Murphy gets out of the jam with the Waves still in the lead, but the damage done. Waves still lead 4-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
He'll step on the bag at third.
Welcome back here to Cardines Field. A very foggy night here in Newport as the Ocean State Waves lead the Newport Gulls 4-3 here. And now to tell you the story for innings 7, 8, and 9, here is the voice of the Newport Gulls, Rob Massey.
Thanks very much, Tim Scott. Good to have you back on the call here at Cardines. As the Gulls have chipped away at this deficit, the first pitch to Nick Dawson is chopped up with it as the first baseman, Brad Wegman, on the first. One pitch, one out for the Gulls here in the 7th.
Good defensive play there by Brad Wegman, stepping off the mound just a tiny bit. His long arms made the great stretching play to fire on the first and get a relatively speedy Nick Dawson out for the first out of the 7th.
That brings up Jake Palomaki, who is 1 for 3 on the night. He singled in the 5th inning. And the last inning that we saw Hunter Shriver, the starter here for the Gulls. The first pitch seen by Palomaki as a called strike. 4-3 your score here in the 7th inning. A foggy night here in Newport, but a great crowd on hand at Cardines. The 0-1, this is low, ball 1.
Jake Palomaki, a very patient batter, has reached base 5 straight games. He's known to work a walk or two in his day. Very speedy, too.
1-1 is chopped foul. Reset to be 1-2.
Palomaki continuing to make Wegman work for his pitches. Early on when he faced Hunter Shriver, he usually worked at bats of usually more than 5 pitches. Known to work long at bats, and he can stretch you out with his hitting and running abilities as well.
1-2, strike 3 called outside part of the plate. Palomaki didn't like it. 2 down in the 7th.
And a very efficient inning so far by Brad Wegman, even after allowing the 2-run home run by Chucky Robinson. Still working well, retiring 3 straight batters in his 2nd inning of relief.
That brings up Griffin Helms, 0 for 3 on the night, a strikeout, a ground out, and a fly out. As you can see, the fog really settling in over one of the light stanchions here. That one gets away, ball 1.
It appears the fog is starting to drift a little bit more to the left. However, there's a little bit of a little light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, or the light at the end of the fog storm in center field, as now we could see Jovan Afner a little more clearly.
The 1-0 swung on and missed by Griffin Helms. 1-1.
Waves still maintaining an aggressive approach to the plate, even with the lead at 4-3, as now Griffin Helms, Jake Palomaki, and Nick Dawson all swinging at the first pitch.
1-1. Big swing and a miss at a breaking ball in the dirt. 1-2.
Mighty hack there by Griffin Helms, who despite only hitting 1 home run with Kennesaw State last spring, as a high school hitter, was a prolific homer hitter as he participated in the Tropicana Field Home Run Derby.
Breaking ball misses just low, maybe a bit in. 2-2 will be the count there. That was a pitch that Wegman wanted. As Tim Scott alluded to, you can see the fog high in the field. Not settling in fully yet, the 2-2. That one is a broken bat, chopper back to the mound. Wegman on 2 hops, throws the first for the out. That retires aside. The Ocean State Waves go in order, and the Gulls look to come up and chip away at this deficit. They trail 4-3 as we go to the bottom of the 7th here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning here. 4-3 in favor of the Ocean State Waves. Rob Massey, Tim Scott, Meg Kirby, George Bissell, and of course, Billy McNeil from the nest here at Cardines Field. The first pitch that Kevin Baker sees, he fouls out of play. 0-1. When this inning continues, or in a moment, we will have tonight, this day in baseball history. This one is popped to the shortstop. King will stay in his place, reach up and make the catch. Today in baseball history, in 1839, due to an erroneous eyewitness account, Abner Doubleday is given credit for establishing the first baseball game which is played in America. The Hall of Fame, which will open a century later in Cooperstown, New York, celebrates the origin of our national pastime in this small upstate New York town, although it's really doubtful that the West Point Cadet was ever there or even watched a baseball game. First pitch into Jovan Afner is a called strike, but Abner Doubleday may or may not have established baseball in the United States 176 years ago today. Happy birthday to our national pastime.
And Abner Doubleday probably looking down on this game today and still miffed at how they're playing in this fog.
The 1-1 misses away, 2-1. I actually was lucky enough, the baseball field where baseball was established according to legend, Doubleday Field, which is now in Cooperstown, New York, was lucky enough to umpire a baseball game there a couple of years ago. The 2-1 is a ball away, 3-1, and that's actually something when you go to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown that's still talked about, whether or not Abner Doubleday is truly the founder of professional baseball in America. 3-1 is fouled away. It'll be 3-2 to Jovan Afner.
Actually, to correct you there, it's actually George Wright that pioneered professional baseball.
Abner Doubleday brought baseball to America.
Derived from the game of rounders in the United Kingdom and cricket and all those other batted and ball sports.
Payoff pitch, misses away, ball 4, the tying run aboard here. With a walk, Jovan Afner is 1 for 3 and puts a walk in his line tonight. Reed Gamache comes up. He's 1 for 2 on the night. He was also plunked in the 3rd inning.
So finds a way to make an impact against his former team. Now a 2-time goal, 1-time wave in very elite and very small company.
Snap throw over to first. Jovan Afner back diving.
Throughout the game, you notice that the Waves have more of an urgency to try to get pickoffs, as all of Mason Perryman, Richard Lovelady, and Matt Murphy demonstrated throughout the night.
Pitch to Reed Gamache is a ball inside.
But that play there, another example of why Chucky Robinson is one of the quickest pitchers to throw a ball, one of the quickest catchers to throw a ball. There as he tried to do a pop throw over to first, but Reed Gamache was still standing.
Murphy kicks and deals. And that one is grounded to the shortstop. He dives, stabbing it. The throw over to first is going to be not in time. The ball gets away. Going to third base is Afner. And staying at first will be Reed Gamache. It should be a clean single, and Afner will reach third on the E6.
Difficult throw there by Alex King. A good diving play. However, he thought he had a chance at it and just kind of threw it off 1 foot there.
Time being called here as Matt Murphy will be visited. Bullpen still going for the Ocean State Waves. Attendance tonight at Cardines Field, we have a sellout. 2,473 people came out to Cardines Field to see the Gulls take on the Ocean State Waves. 2-4-7-3 tonight. That beats opening night, which was 2160.
So a lot of passionate fans wanting to see this great game of baseball despite the fog. And a lot of them still hanging around here. Even though the fog has been crippling the view from the stands, it's still great to see all these fans here tonight.
We would, by the way, be getting Mike Kirby in here to do a check around the league, but it seems like live stats are either frozen or something's going on with point streak as far as statistics go, so we can't check in and tell you what the scores are because they're not accurate and they haven't been for a while. One down here in the 7th inning. Runners hit the corners, and up is Cooper Elliott, who has a single and flew out twice today. First pitch he sees is a ball from Matt Murphy.
If I was Matt Murphy, I'd try to pound the zone with fastballs here, maybe mix in a few off-speed pitches to try to induce a ground ball double play like he did to start off his outing in the 6th.
Pitch misses away, ball 2. This is not a situation where you want to give up a walk here with 1 down.
Especially if you're Matt Murphy, who has yet to walk, actually walked 1 batter today.
Pitch misses in. I was actually corrected by our media staff here. 2,500 would be a sellout here at Cardines Field, so 2473 is not an official sellout, the 3-0. Misses. Nope, I lied. Caught the zone. A late strike call. 3-1.
Now, if you're at the bat here in Cooper Elliott, you're going to try to look for a hittable pitch as Matt Murphy is going to try to get it over the strike zone.
3-1. Called strike. Low and in.
Pitch just clipped the inside corner on that one. Fastball there from Murphy.
Payoff pitch to Elliott. Swinging a chopper. That's going to be through for a hit. The Gulls have tied the ball game. Going first to third is Reed Gamache. And the Gulls come all the way back, trailing 4-1 at one point, and we are knotted up here in the 7th.
Good piece of hitting there by Cooper Elliott, getting it right through that hole at second base. Nick Dawson was played a little bit over to the right to try to get the double play. However, he just hit him where he wasn't, and as a result, scoring easily from second base third, I should say, was Jovan Afner, and now this game is tied up.
Gamache went first to third, and the Gulls threaten here. Still only one down. Here's Max Bierman, who's already singled and scored a run today. First pitch he sees is a ball.
Good stop there by Chucky Robinson to keep that ball in front of him. However, now with runners on the corners, things are a little bit more tight here if you're Matt Murphy after the lead has been relinquished.
Murphy comes set, kicks, fires. That one is lifted to left field. In step is Buck McCarthy. He'll make the catch. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be not in time as Reed Gamache. Charlie Hustle slides into the plate. The Gulls have taken the lead.
Good base running there by Reed Gamache to advance for third on that sacrifice fly. Buck McCarthy, still a good throw to the plate. However, it was just a bounce too late, and the Newport Gulls have come all the way back here in an impressive comeback against the Waves.
A sacrifice fly RBI for Max Bierman. The Gulls back on top here in the 7th inning, 5-4. Still at first base is Cooper Elliott. 2 down in the 7th. First pitch to Drew Lugbauer. Misses away for a ball.
Difficult situation here if you're Matt Murphy. Getting everything you need, a ground ball and a flyout, however, just disastrous consequences with the 2 RBIs.
Now it's foul back, and what a snag by the on-deck batter, Jeremy Wolf, playing the carom.
Trying to get on that highlight reel a little bit there. Just kind of backhanding it there, trying to get his fielding chops going, even though he's at the DH today.
1-1 pitch to Drew Lugbauer, waves the bat. Here it is. Misses high, ball 2. Lugbauer was plunked in the 2nd and scored. He flew out in the 4th. He reached on an error in the 6th and scored.
Just goes to show how those miscues in the 6th inning came back to hurt the Waves tonight.
The 2-1 misses inside, 3-1.
Now Matt Murphy still trying to overpower batters with his fastball, but with a little bit of a composure shift, especially with the 2 runs. His fastball starting, although it maintains its velocity, still a little bit outside.
3-1 chopped away.
But he was still maintaining the philosophy to overcome the outs. A lot of similar words, homophones, right over there here in the Ocean State Waves Newport Gulls broadcast booth tonight.
That was a good recovery, Tim Scott.
Synonyms, thesaurus.
Now you're just saying words.
Yeah, just trying to keep that roll going, but yeah, it didn't quite work. One-time fluke there.
Here's the payoff pitch. The runner goes. The ball is down. Ball 4. He walked him. So a walk, a single, a sacrifice fly, and now a walk. Have the Ocean State Waves now trailing by a run, and that's going to do it for Matt Murphy.
Eric Sorella motioning to the bullpen here, and it appears that we will have a new arm.
We will step away. When we come back, we'll tell you all about the new pitcher from the Ocean State Waves. You're listening to us live on the NECBL Broadcast Network. at Cardines Field. New pitcher on the mound. It's Jeff Murphy. Here to tell you all about him is Tim Scott.
Thanks, Rob. Jeff Murphy making his second appearance of the summer for the Ocean State Waves. He had 2 shutout innings in the 8-2 opening day loss to the New Bedford Bay Sox last Thursday. But Murphy had a 2.05 ERA with Boston College as a junior. He's a pitcher, also a two-way player sometimes with Boston College, but mostly a pitcher here with the Waves that can overpower you with a fastball and curveball combo, similar to the pitcher with no relation, Matt Murphy, that just came out of the game for the Waves.
Well, Jeff Murphy looks to get the last out here of the 7th inning as the Gulls have scratched across 2 runs and continue to threaten. Runners on first and second, Elliott on second, Lugbauer on first. The first pitch to Jeremy Wolf is hit high to center field. The ball gets lost out there. It's off the wall, I believe. One is going to come across the score. Here comes the second as center fielder Dylan Bordeaux lost the ball in the fog. It's an 2 RBI double for Jeremy Wolf.
Good piece of hitting there by Jeremy Wolf. To hit it where they can't see the ball, right off the deep center field wall. Dylan Bordeaux tried to find it, however the fog makes it a little bit difficult to see. And just like that, they get 2 RBIs out of the deal.
Number 12, John Littell.
7-4 now in favor of the Newport Gulls as they lead here in the 7th. The 8th man to bat here, John Littell, against the new pitcher, Jeff Murphy. The first pitch to Littell is a ball, and there's where the fog we were talking about all game finally came in to really affect the ball game, as that ball was lost out there in center field.
That was just an unfortunate situation there for Dylan Bordeaux.
1-0 is lifted. Coming in is Tim Lynch, the first baseman. He will make the call and the catch for the out. That retires a side. But the Gulls scratch across 4 here in the 7th inning and lead 7-4. You're listening to us live on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Tune in for front office.
Back here at Cardines Field as the Gulls drop the bomb on the Ocean State Waves. Let's check in with Meg Kirby and a look around the league.
Thanks, Rob. All right, the Mystic Schooners are leading the Vermont Mountaineers 5-1 in the top of the 7th. The Laconia Muskrats are leading the Keene Swamp Bats 6-5 in the bottom of the 7th. The Plymouth Pilgrims lead the Valley Blue Sox 5-2 in the top of the 9th. The North Adams Steeplecats and the Bedford Bay Sox are in a rain delay after 5.5 innings of play, with the Bay Sox leading 2-1. Danbury Westerners are falling to the Stanford Mainers 9-2 in the bottom of the 7th, and the Ocean State Waves are falling to the Newport Gulls 7-4 in the top of the 8th.
Our home plate umpire just called time as Tim Rayner is going to talk to Mike Coombs and the manager from the Ocean State Waves, and I don't know if this is going to be about the fog or visibility or what. As you can see the conversation down there going on. We've completed 7 innings here. 7-3 as Rayner I guess the conversation is over here. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if it's about the fog rolling in, Tim, or if it was one of those things where something maybe was said. But that was quick to call both managers over. No warnings have been issued. Just a conversation here in the 8th inning. The first pitch to the Gulls batter, Tim Lynch, is a ball from Brad Wegman. That one's popped up out of play. 1-1.
Maybe it was a meaning just to say that perhaps the game might be called early due to thunder. Maybe just saying like, oh, we're going to end the game in the middle of the 8th and give the Waves one more chance to hit.
This could be the last half inning.
Potentially. I can't read minds, but that's the only logical explanation I have.
Pitch misses away, ball 2, 2-1. I've very rarely seen that. The Gulls technically are up, so this could be the last inning because of fog, giving the Ocean State Waves a chance to bat here. the 2-1. That one is line to left field, and it's going to be a fair ball. Drops in just fair as it goes into the bullpen. Time being called by home plate umpire Tim Rayner. Rayner, I thought, was calling that a ground rule double. All of a sudden, and here comes Mike Coombs. Mike Coombs is going to go out and talk to Tim Rayner. Now, Rayner put his hands up and said that that was a double when it got into the bullpen. And they will put Tim Lynch back to second base. It is a ground rule double. It went out of play. And now here comes the manager for the Ocean State Waves wanting to know what happened. But that's the right call. That's a ground rule double all the way down there. And Rayner really stopped the play, put his hands up saying time, and pointed to second base initially after the ball went into the bullpen. Now, Rayner struggled with that fair foul call. It made the right call because we're right in line with the left field line, but the fog is getting really bad here as this argument continues on the infield.
Now, I'm rarely one to disagree with Coach Sorella, but I believe he's in the wrong on this play. That ball clearly bounced into the dugout, and judging from Cardines field knowledge, that will be a ground rule double every time.
It's just one of those weird lines here at Cardines. And now what the Waves are arguing is that Rayner didn't come up vociferously to kill the ball, and Lynch went from second to third because nobody really said that the ball was dead. Anyway, runner on second, Dylan Bordeaux will take the first pitch he sees as a ball low. But we saw it right from Jump Street that it was going to be a ground rule double, and Rayner made the call early.
It just didn't make it loud enough, according to Coach Eric Sorella there.
The 1-0, and that's a broken bat. That's going to stay fair, fielded by Tavares. He's going to throw to first, and it's going to be out number 1.
Good defensive play there by Martin Tavares to get in front of that ball while keeping a good eye on Tim Lynch to make sure there wasn't an off-chance advance over to the third. But that's a good out there for the Gulls, and it gets them one out here in the 8th.
Very, very curious about that visit before the, well, not the visit, but the conversation with the managers before this inning started. And if this will truly be the last 2 outs of the game for the Ocean State Waves because of the thick fog settling in here. First pitch to Buck McCarthy is a called strike. Now, reading on body language alone, Mike Coombs, after the last thing that looked like was said, Coombs pointed to the ground, which to me signifies maybe this, and this is it.
Perhaps.
We'll find out in 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Wegman. That one is chopped foul. We'll reset, be 0-2.
Either way, it could be a very abrupt ending to a thrilling game here at Cardines Field.
Good game from both sides, really. A couple of miscues on the Ocean State Waves side of it. Really, and a really tough 7th inning.
It really brings out the essence of the Pell Bridge rivalry despite the fog.
The 0-2. That's fouled back. We'll reset. We'll do it again.
And for Buck McCarthy, who's had a great day at the plate, 2 for 2 with an RBI, this is a game you don't want to have end because this, as you said earlier about Jovan Afner, sort of a career day here for Buck McCarthy in terms of offensive productivity, and he made a solid play out there in left earlier today, so everything falling for him tonight.
The 0-2 chopped high. Tavares fields it on the hop, throws over to first. It's going to be in time. Tavares made that interesting as he just let that ball go right to him and made a bullet of a throw over to first, but that was a high chopper that Tavares very lackadaisically played. Made the play, so you can't say too much negative about it, but definitely a weird play there by Tavares. 2 down here in the 8th. Will we play a bottom? That is the question thus far. 7-4 in favor of the Newport Gulls. Chucky Robinson, who has only 1 official at bat today, as he was plunked and walked as well. Excuse me, I'm sorry, he wasn't plunked. I can't read my own handwriting. He hit that 2-run home run in the 6th inning, so he's 1 for 2 on the day, 2 RBIs and a run scored. Here's the pitch. That one is popped up out of play, landing just to our right here.
Right down in Souvenir Row down the first baseline here at Cardines Field. A lot of young fans going after that ball. Lucky souvenir there for the fan in the orange hat. The fans could see the foul balls, yet the players can't see the fly balls.
A 1-1, a called strike, 1-2 here to Chucky Robinson.
Chucky Robinson, a pretty patient batter at the plate. He had a count about 1-2 when that home run was hit back in the 6th inning when it was much more visible outside.
Wegman comes set at the chest, checks the runner, kicks and fires. That one is chopped. 2 hops, fielded by Lugbauer. He throws the first for the out. That retires the side. And our umpires are going to come in and meet.
All right, fans, it is time for our last.
We're going to keep it here for just a second as they're going to meet with the coaching staffs right by the dugout here. And it looks like we will have a bottom of the 8th inning. So we'll be right back here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Base.
Back here at Cardines Field, bottom of the 8th, 7 for your score. The Gulls over the Ocean State Waves on a very foggy night here in Newport as we pass 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. Thank you for listening to us all around the world on Point Streak. It will be Tavares, Baker, and Avner. If anybody reaches, we'll see Reed Gamache one more time to face Jeff Murphy. First pitch is popped up left field. Coming in is the left fielder, McAuliffe. And McAuliffe made the catch for out number 1. Having to dive out of the way was Alex King. Nice catch by McCarthy.
Yeah, Buck McCarthy avenging the fog and sliding Alex King to make the catch. Martin Navarez thought he had a hit out of the deal, but instead Buck McCarthy making the slick fielding play to get the first out here in the 8th.
Getting a field report from one of our camera crew, the umpires were telling the managers in the 8th inning that the players were actually telling them they can't see a thing out there. Here's a pitch from Murphy, and that one is flown out to right field. This one's going to be fun. In step is Griffin Helms, and he makes a catch for out number 2. And the umpires were telling both the Gulls and the Ocean State Waves coaching staffs that they should keep that in mind, as the fog is very dangerous, more so than playing in the rain even. You know, the rain you're worried about the slippery ground, but the fog, you're dealing with moisture, you're dealing with very little visibility, and it's only getting thicker. 2 down here in the 8th inning. Jovan Afner comes up. First pitch he sees, bounces in there, ball 1.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rob. It's definitely more of a threat to play in the fog because if you can't see, at least in the rain, you're able to see where the ball is going.
This one's line foul right off of the stanchion. 1-1.
To continue that point, whereas the fog, it's like playing in the dark without any lights. You can't see the ball, and the baseball blends in with the fog, and that might lead to further injuries.
The 1-1 foul out of play. That'll get onto America's Cup Avenue. I'm surprised, and I know things are a little bit different at the collegiate level than they would be at the secondary school, high school level. But usually when players were to tell umpires in levels that are lower than college, hey, we can't see the ball, that would normally do it for the game. The 1-2, that misses high, ball 2. Safety, regardless of the age, is still safety.
Exactly. It's just one of those things, especially a concern for these players.
This one is lined through for a hit just past second base. Jovan Afner aboard. That is his 3rd hit of the game.
Good piece of hitting there by Jovan Afner to get that right up the middle. A good scorching single there.
It's his second hit of the game, pardon me.
And that was just another good piece of hitting. Afner now on base for the third time today, giving Waves pitchers a lot of trouble, setting the table for more powerful hitters in their order.
This week for Jovan Afner at Cardines Field, he is 7 for 9 with 4 runs scored and a walk. First pitch to Reed Gamache misses for a ball.
Quite the frame there. The only thing I can think of that's more impressive than that was Thomas Rulis of Vermont going 10 for 10 and hitting a 667 average in the process.
That misses. Nope, does not. Catches his own. 1-1 to Reed Gamache. 2 down here in the 8th inning. For the Gulls, their last hacks, presumably for the game. The 1-1, big cut and a miss by Reed Gamache, 1-2.
And if you're the Ocean State Waves, you have due up the bottom of the order, but nonetheless a potent part of the order there. Alex King with the RBI double. So all in all, if you're Eric Sorella, you got to think of going aggressive approach at the plate there.
The 1-2, misses high, ball 2.
And now the question is, if you're Mike Coombs, you're going to stick with Brad Wegman for his 4th inning of work, or you're going to go to the bullpen?
With such a short bullpen, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Mike Coombs will stay with Wegman, who is pitching very well. The 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Breaking ball just outside, 3-2.
Good curveball there from Jeff Murphy, just a little bit outside there, but Murphy had some good drop on that pitch to make it interesting to Reed Gamache.
A shot in right field. You can barely see the right fielder, Griffin Helms. Snap throw over to first. Back diving is Jovan Afner. You can barely see Afner with our cameras here. As the fog rolls in, doesn't stop the people on top of the warehouse from watching on. All on their feet here.
Seems like there's more people on top of the warehouse.
Payoff pitch. Base is low. It was not the payoff. It was now ball 3, so it will be 3-2. Now will be a payoff pitch.
Jeff Murphy probably going to go with the fastball here against Reed Gamache, try to overpower him there.
Here is the payoff. Strike 3, called outside part of the plate. Gamache had a step towards first base. He didn't like the call. He's going to speak to Tim Reiner about it for a minute or two, and it's not going to get him anywhere. And that will do it for the 8th inning. After 8 complete, 7-4 your score from Cardines Field. The Gulls will come up in the 9th inning and try to put this one in the win column. We'll be right back on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back here at Cardines Field, the Gulls on top 7-4 here, and we have a new pitcher on the mound for Newport, and it's Carson LaRue. As Wegman pitched brilliantly in relief. Carson LaRue is 0-1 on the season. He pitched in Mystic. He pitched 4 innings in that game, giving up 6 hits, 5 runs all earned, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, 11.25 ERA. You can see the fans are not wavering on top of the warehouse here. As LaRue finishes his warm-ups.
The Waves know a thing or two about 9th inning rallies. They were down behind the Danbury Westerners last Friday, well actually a week ago today, and came back to win 5-3. So this aggressive, tenacious style of the Ocean State Waves could come to play here, especially even though the bottom of the order is coming up. This is still a potent part of the order due to their aggressive approach at the plate.
The line for Brad Wegman, 3 innings pitched. He gave up 3 hits, 2 runs. They were earned on that 2-run home run by Chucky Robinson. 1 walk, 1 strikeout. And right now, Wegman is in line for the win. The first pitch from LaRue to Alex King is a called strike.
Fastball was a laser there by Carson LaRue, just throwing it right over the plate. Had a lot of zip to it as well.
The 0-1, that misses low, ball 1.
Alex King coming into this game with a double and a walk today, so demonstrating his aggressive approach he's been working on in practice the last few days.
That pitch misses low, ball 2.
Extensively before the game, Coach Eric Sorella working with King to work on his offensive approach, and so far the work has paid off.
This one is lined and just past the diving glove of Martin Tavares. It's going to be a single for Alex King. Nice diving attempt by Martin Tavares, but Alex King, where he laced a double in the second inning, puts the ball right in the same spot off the glove of Martin Tavares.
Good piece of hitting there by Alex King, starting things off right here for the Ocean State Waves. Good effort there by Tavares to keep that ball from going any further. Instead of being a double with nobody out, just a single with no one out, due to that nice defensive play there by Martin Tavares.
First pitch to Dom Veltri is a ball.
Veltri maintains an aggressive offensive approach at the plate, even though he's 0 for 3 on the day. He's worked a lot of high pitch counts here to both Shriver and Wegman, trying to do the same here with LaRue.
Pitch misses low. Ball 2.
Dom Veltri 0 for 3 today. Still yet to look for his first hit of the summer. Looking for it right here would be a great time for the Ocean State Waves.
That pitch catches the zone, low and away, 2-1.
Another great fastball there by Carson LaRue, mixing it in, very high velocity fastball, showing why he's a potent pitcher when he pitches for Oklahoma State in the spring.
LaRue sets high at the chest, the 2-1. That one is grounded through for a hit, and all of a sudden the Ocean State Waves are threatening here and bring the tying run to the plate. Back-to-back singles for the Waves, and you were saying, Tim Scott, the bottom of the order is not necessarily a weak part of the lineup for Ocean State.
Everyone in the Waves offense is very potent at the plate, very high batting averages in college. However, just the placement of them, that's a little bit, that needs tweaking a little bit. But all in all, a good aggressive approach at the plate keeps this Waves offense alive here in the top of the ninth.
Nick Dawson 0 for 3 on the night. Carson LaRue sets at the chest. He kicks and fires. Has a called strike. A no-doubter fastball on the inside part of the plate.
I would not be surprised if Nick Dawson tried to go for a sacrifice bunt here, judging by Eric Sorella's aggressive style of managing. It would be good to get 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out in the top of the order coming up next.
The 0-1 pitch. Misses low, breaking ball, ball 1.
And Nick Dawson, usually the rally catalyst for the Waves, trying to be the rally continuer in a way. I'm not sure if that's a word, but Nick Dawson, always the one to start off a key rally for the Waves.
Dawson waves the bat from the right side. Here's the pitch from LaRue. Breaking ball. That misses, ball 2.
And Dawson, who hit .215 with Southern Miss last spring, just a guy that can get the offense going, even though his batting average might not suggest so, but he's a guy that can continue rallies and make key plays for any offense.
LaRue's going to step off and get back with Drew Lugbauer for signs.
Big spot here, though, for Nick Dawson to demonstrate his clutch ability and try to keep this game going.
2-1 misses inside, ball 3, and now a very big pitch if you're an Ocean State Waves fan coming up, as there are nobody down, runners at first and second, and the Waves threatening.
Big time pitch, as you mentioned there, Rob. Nick Dawson needs a chance to show he can shine at the plate.
The 3-1 pitch. Misses away, ball 4, he walked him. Ocean State has loaded the bases, and the Waves could come crashing home on a key placed hit in the person of Jake Palomaki.
It's a big time at bat here for Jake Palomaki, who had a similar situation last Friday in Danbury. Had the bases loaded and nobody out. Laced a 2-run single to left field to put the Gulls, or the Waves I should say, ahead. As now Kevin Long coming out to the mound. But Palomaki has a flair for the dramatic, especially here in the 9th inning.
Kevin Long's going to have a talk with Carson LaRue and see exactly how they can get out of this bases loaded, nobody out jam.
I can assume the discussion between Kevin Long, Carson LaRue, and Drew Lugbauer is probably to say Jake Palomaki is a guy that will capitalize on any pitch relatively close to the strike zone. So just to keep that in mind as the bases are loaded, maybe to set up an infield in situation, a double play depth, just to be aware that this could be a potentially game-changing at-bat here from Jake Palomaki and the Ocean State Waves.
Absolutely, as Tim Moreno comes in to break up the meeting on the mound. Bases full of Waves. King at third, Veltri at second, Dawson at first. Single walk, how they all got there. Jake Palomaki is 1 for 3 on the night. A single, 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging, and a flyout. The lefty will take a second, do some maintenance on the batter's box. He pinwheels the bat. Carson LaRue comes set. Here's the pitch. Misses away, ball 1.
And Palomaki, even if he can't do the job with the bat, is known for taking a lot of walks. So a bases loaded walk might not be the worst idea for the Ocean State Waves, especially with more powerful hitters coming up to the bat later on in the inning.
The 1-0. Catches the outside part of the plate, a called strike.
Carson LaRue with another crisp fastball on the outside corner there. He's a guy that if he can work on his control a little bit, could be a very dangerous pitcher in the future.
The 1-1, that's fouled back. 1-2. Now just notice that ball is still there. Just as a side note to break things up, that baseball is still lodged in the fence. Meanwhile, Carson LaRue is in a no-out bases loaded jam here in the 9th inning. The tying run at first base. LaRue comes set at the chest. The 1-2 pitch. Check swing, foul back. And we'll reset and do it again. That's the epitome of an excuse me swing.
That just hit right off the tip of the bat. If that ball had not hit the bat and rolled all the way back to the backstop, you might have had a run come home. So for the Newport Gulls, a very lucky excuse me swing there by Jake Palomaki to keep this at bat alive.
Here's the 1-2 again. Swinging a broken bat. Blooper to the shortstop. Up with it is Baker. He goes to second. Nobody home. A run scores. It's probably going to be an RBI single. It's an infield single, an RBI single, and the Ocean State Waves now trail 7-5.
Good piece of hitting there by Jake Palomaki to get the ball in the field. Good effort, though, by Kevin Baker on a tricky hop. Slipped a little bit and allowed the run to score. But good effort, though, to keep that from going into the outfield.
Time being called now. Here comes manager Mike Coombs, and that's going to do it for Carson LaRue. Mike Coombs makes the call, and we are going to go to the bullpen here as the Ocean State Waves threaten with now the go-ahead run on first base. We'll step aside when we come back. We'll tell you all about the new pitcher here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back here at Cardines Field, new pitcher on the mound for the Gulls. It is the stopper for the Gulls, Brandon Spagnolo, making his 4th appearance. In 3 appearances, he has a .82 ERA in 11 innings pitched, 5 hits, only 1 run came across, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. Opponents hitting a meager 147 against Spagnolo, and he comes in one heck of a jam for the Newport Gulls. bases loaded, nobody down, with a tying run at first base. With the go-ahead run at first base in Jake Palamaki, with a tying run in scoring position. And Griffin Helms comes up. Time called as Spagnuolo wants to get on the same page with Drew Lugbauer. Spagnuolo looks in, gets the sign. Comes set at the waist. Kicks, fires from the side, swung on and missed by Griffin Helms.
Mighty swing there from Griffin Helms on that fastball there by Spagnuolo. That was just a good swing there by Griffin Helms, trying to demonstrate his tenacious approach at the plate.
The 0-1. That's a chopper high coming to field. It is Baker. He's only got one play. He goes to first. It's going to be in time. A run does come across. And the Ocean State Waves are now within one, as it's an RBI ground out, 6-3 for Griffin Helms. And Tim Lynch comes up.
Good piece of hitting there by Griffin Helms, even though it was not a single or drove in more runs. A run is a run for the Ocean State Waves, and with one out and 2 runners in scoring position, and Tim Lynch coming up to the bat, this is a dream scenario if you're an Ocean State Waves fan listening in tonight.
Lynch has 2 doubles on the evening, also a strikeout and a ground out. He comes up with the tying run at third. The first pitch he sees line to Tavares. He goes to third. It's going to be a double play, and the Gulls win. A liner double play ends the ball game. Martin Tavares is the hero. Brendan Spagnuolo gets the save, and the Gulls take their 3rd here at Cardines Field in Game 1 in the Pell Bridge Series over the Ocean State Waves, 7-6.
Great win tonight for the Ocean State Waves, getting a clutch play there by Martin Tavares to get the line-out double play. And for the Ocean State Waves, this is a stinging loss, especially here on this foggy night. It came so close, but yet so far.
We will have our post-game show right after this. The Gulls win. You're listening to us live on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Stay tuned for the...
Back here at Cardines Field, the Gulls win 7-6. Hi, everybody. Rob Massey, Tim Scott, and Meg Kirby coming to you live from Cardines. Here is how this game ended. The Newport Gulls, 7 runs, 11 hits. They committed no errors, left 8 on base. The Ocean State Waves, 6 runs on 12 hits. They committed 2 errors and left 6 on base. Hunter Shriver was a starter for the Gulls. He went 5 innings, giving up 2 runs. They were both earned, 5 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He threw 82 pitches, 46 for strikes. Mason Perryman, 4 innings, 1 run for the Ocean State Waves, 4 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. He did hit 2 batters through 67 pitches, 40 for strikes. Brad Wegman gets the win here tonight in relief. He is 1-1. Matt Murphy gets the loss. Brendan Spagnuolo gets the save. That is his 2nd of the season. Chucky Robinson got the only home run for Ocean State. That's his 1st home run, and that was in the 6th inning. The game took 3 hours to play here in front of 2,473. And Tim Scott, that was a heck of a ball game here in the first game of the Pell Bridge Series.
Yeah, that was a terrific ball game for both sides. Really, the offense is coming to life for both teams. Thought the Ocean State Waves could have had it in the 9th, but a great defensive play there by Martin Tavares to end the game. One of those stinging defensive plays that you don't want to see happen if you're the Ocean State Waves, but that's the game of baseball. Anything can happen, so just a great play there. The Waves put in great effort. All in all, great ball game, as now they return to Old Mountain Field tomorrow for the first time in a week.
Brendan Spagnuolo is our player of the game. I'm going to go down and speak with Brendan. George Bissell is going to, as he's greeting the fans here at Cardines, is going to sit in for me for the post-game show as it continues here with Tim Scott, Meg Kirby, and George Bissell. Tim, take it away.
Well, thanks, Rob. Glad to be back hosting like I did last year. Now here comes George, who was our play-by-play broadcaster a few years ago for the Newport Gulls. Welcome, George.
Hey, Tim Scott, how are you?
I'm doing good. Back in the old chair for the post-game show. A little bit of a throwback here.
Well, hey, let's talk about that last play there for Spagnuolo coming in. I mean, you couldn't be put in a tougher spot. You got the tying run on second, nobody out, and then the presence of mind for Tavares not only to stab that ball instead of trying to let it drop, but to make that play and then tag the bag just ahead of the runner.
Yeah.
Incredible play, and that's vintage Tavares. That's what we've seen all night tonight.
Yeah, that was Martin Tavares at his finest, shining in defensively at third base for URI, just coming in there, making the play of the night by far. And we saw a lot of candidates tonight for play of the night, but that was just a great all-around defensive play there by Tavares. Not only did it give the Gulls a victory, it prevented Tim Lynch, who's one of the top offensive producer for the Waves, from getting a big hit and getting the big spot there. Just all-around great play there by the Gulls to take the first game of the Pell Bridge Series.
Yeah, speaking of big catches, Dylan Burdo made a run-saving catch earlier in the game out in left center field. We saw, maybe it's early season, but a lot of difficulty playing this ballpark for some of the guys. Early on, there was a ball off the wall, Cooper Elliott right in the first inning. After Gamache got on with the double, Elliott hits a ball off the wall in right center. That's usually, an RBI triple. Gamache didn't get a good read off it, had to hold up, and that ended up being a key run as you saw this game tight through the middle innings. And then we saw that ball in the corner off the Waves bat where it was ruled a ground rule double. It's just stuff that these guys, and they're going to get used to it playing so many games in this park the rest of the way, that I think that stuff's going to kind of even out over time.
It's just the little things there, George, that makes the difference, especially in that seventh inning where the Gulls pounced on the Waves for 4 runs. I felt that was the biggest difference in the game, not only because of the score, but it really showed that early on the Gulls offense was a little bit kept at bay by Mason Perryman and Richard Lovelady at the time, but it really just showed how the Gulls could hop on anybody at any given time to make these plays. And it showed in the long run in the final score.
Well, Lovelady ran into some trouble. You mentioned that 6th inning, and that's really the decisive inning in this one, in which the Gulls were able to start that rally, plating 2 runs, and then they come back with a 4 spot in the 7th. But, it starts off with a single by Bierman, and then the floodgates open after the error on the pitcher Lovelady there on Lugbauer's at bat. If he's able to make that play, potential double play, that's a big play for the Waves. And you saw the Gulls battle back late in this one. I thought that was... the most impressive part is this is easily a game when you look at the conditions out on the field and the fog. This is one they could have easily thrown in the towel on. And then to really stage 2 comebacks, you talk about that 9th inning, but after LaRue gets in the jam there to start the frame, you start thinking, do we really have a shot to hang on to this game? And then for Spagnuolo, he really gave them a lift coming in there at the end. The Waves are going to be back. This is a talented team. They got a lot of good players on this roster. I thought Chucky Robinson was a standout today. You saw the power on the home run. That was a shot he hit to left field. And this is a team that the Gulls are going to be contending with all season long. And what a way to start the series here in the Pell Bridge series this year.
Can't get much better than this. The fog, a harbinger for the rest of the night for the Ocean State Waves in a way. But in essence, it was just a great game all around. The Ocean State Waves still waiting on one more guy to come through in A.J. Ramirez tomorrow. But this team is ready to compete, getting ready to rock and roll, especially later on in the season. The Waves next play the Gulls next week, actually next Saturday at Old Mountain Field. You can catch me and Rob Massey on the call that day. But it's going to be a very exciting Pell Bridge Series. Each year in the Pell Bridge Series, a very exciting contest, seeing it from both sides of the bridge. It's just going to be this interesting paradigm that can make this summer very interesting for both of these teams.
Tim, I want to make sure I'm doing my job correctly here. We went through the final totals in this one, or have we yet to do that?
Yes, we have.
Okay, great.
One less problem.
Absolutely. Brad Wegman in relief, he's going to get lost in the shuffle of all the things that happened today. I thought he was stellar. Aside from the home run to Robinson, very good effort in relief, throwing 3 innings, ending up picking up the win by the skin of his teeth there in the 9th as the Waves left the tying run at 3rd. But we're still waiting here on our player of the game, Rob Massey, on the field. So, in this one, a couple of defensive plays. I thought Martin Tavares defensively was a real standout. He made a couple of nice defensive plays at the hot corner, and he's a guy from URI, local kid. I think he's going to stick on this roster. I think he's done a nice job there, and he's going to be a guy that the Gulls are going to come to count on. Joe Vanafinar at the top of the lineup. I thought he's done a nice job getting on base. Reed Gamache is sort of a staple there. I think Elliott and Bierman have teamed together pretty well in the heart of that order. When you look at the Waves, Tim Lynch is the obvious standout there. I mean, when you look at the impact this guy's potentially going to have, it's a lot. So We're going to send it down to the field here momentarily. Rob Massey still waiting here on Brendan Spagnuolo for the NECBL Broadcast Network Player of the Game post-game interview just moments away. Tim, any final thoughts here before we send it down?
Just a great ball game all around. Can't wait for the next one.
All right, let's send it down to the field. Rob Massey with our Newport Gulls Player of the Game, Brendan Spagnuolo. Rob, take it away.
Thanks very much, George. And Brendan, you're the player of the game tonight. You have been the stopper in the bullpen for the Gulls early on in this season. Coming into a bases-loaded jam like this, what was on your mind other than, hey, let's throw a strike, try to get a ground ball?
I mean, I trust my defense behind me. Being a sidearm pitcher, you know, forced a lot of ground balls, and that's what I did. I managed to get it out there, and my team was right behind me to pick me up. And, I mean, we had the double play at third. Martin caught it and got him out. So, I mean, my team was behind me the whole way, and that's all I was worried about.
Now, this is your 4th appearance overall for the Gulls in what is 6 games. Manager Mike Coombs said that you've basically been the stopper out of the bullpen. You've been able to come in. You've been very reliable. Is that a role that you're comfortable in, being somebody that can go out there? You've thrown a couple of long relief sessions, a couple of 3-inning sessions, getting, I think you're now up to 12 strikeouts, a couple of walks, but your ERA is somewhere around like 0.60 or something like that. Is it, with such a short bullpen, a role that you're glad that you're taking on, that you can be the stopper?
I mean, whatever I could do to help out the team, that's all that matters. If I was starting, I'd be happy. If I was closing, I'd be happy. But whatever to help the team out is, that's my job, and I'm here to do it.
Now, a big come-from-behind win for the Gulls here tonight. They're down 4-1. Big fog coming in. You're down in the bullpen for most of the game. The fog settling in early on in the game. With a deficit, a 3-run deficit, especially such a dense fog, is this something where the players just kind of said, hey, we'll go inning by inning, take a hit by hit, or were you guys out in the bullpen thinking maybe this game's going to get called early?
No, we just take it play by play, pitch by pitch. That's what it's all about. Just, you know, living in the moment and seeing what happens. You never know how the game's going to turn out, and tonight it turned out on our side. The other team was very good. They played a great game, but we just fought back and were able to take this one.
Brendan, great job tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Brendan Spagnuolo, our player of the game. I'm going to kick it back up to George Bissell, Tim Scott, and Meg Kirby.
All right, thank you very much, Rob Massey. Actually, Nick Lima up here in the broadcast booth alongside Tim Scott and Meg Kirby as George Bissell working on the final stats for tonight's contest. For all of you tuning in, of course, we thank you all for listening here tonight on the NECBL Broadcast Network and following the game, of course, on Point Streak. You can follow all games this season live on Point Streak and get up-to-date stats. Tim Scott, final word for you as the Ocean State Waves drop their first of the 6 games Pell Bridge series at Cardines Field.
Well, the big thing for the Waves was that their greater offensive approach was definitely more visible. They entered the game with a 178 batting average, and to go up with 12 hits today is an admirable effort against a strong Gulls pitching staff. It's even more admirable, even though they came away with the loss. This team going to get ready to rock and roll, especially with the 2-game homestand coming in tomorrow against the Sanford Mainers. So this team is going to be ready to go, especially come next week when the second game of the Pell Bridge rivalry begins, but that time at Old Mountain Field.
Tim Scott, we'll see you again at Old Mountain Field soon.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Nick.
Good luck. Now for a quick recap of other action around the NECBL tonight. They go to the top of the 10th, Robbie Mills Park. It's an extra inning baseball. Keene Swamp Bats, Laconia Muskrats, Northern Division action. They're knotted at 6 apiece. Bottom of the 9th, game finalized soon at Rogers Park in Danbury, Connecticut. Last tax for the Westerners. They trail by a bundle. 13-2, Sanford Mainers lead Danbury. The Westerners struggling to start the 2015 campaign. Elsewhere around the league, 2 games have gone final. Mystic Schooners defeating the Vermont Mountaineers 5-1 in interdivision action. About an hour away from here at Cardines on the south coast of Connecticut down at Fitch High School Field. Mystic, the home team. Meanwhile, at Forges Field, Plymouth, Massachusetts, the Pilgrims take up a 5-2 interdivision victory over the Valley Blue Sox. That came over in just 2 hours and 9 minutes. And your final here, Newport Gulls 7 and Ocean State Waves 6. It was a wild one. And also one other action actually around the league tonight. Bay Sox and the Northam Steeplecats, Meg.
Yeah, unfortunately their game was postponed due to rain. They were tied up in the 6th inning, and they have not decided when they are going to be playing that game again. So right now we're just on the wait to find out when they're going to restart that game.
So Bay Sox and the Steeplecats will have to renew that contest another night. Again, your final here, Newport Gulls 7, Ocean State Waves 6. Let's send it down to the field to Rob Massey to wrap things up. Rob?
Thanks very much. And before we step away tonight, let's thank all those who made tonight's game possible. Our executive producer as well as our director is Tom Lima. Graphics designer is Sharon Carlson. Our camera operator is Rob Sanchez, Blair Schneider, and Alexa Scholl. Our field reporter is Megan Kirby. Our statisticians is George Bissell and Billy McNeil. The director of media relations is the one and only Nick Lima. For Tim Scott, George Bissell, Meg Kirby, I am Rob Massey. The Newport Gulls win here 7-6 at Cardines Field. We'll see you tomorrow night in New Bedford, where the game will kick off at 6:30. The Gulls take on the Bay Sox. For everybody here in Newport, Rhode Island on a very foggy night, good night, everybody.